to fix that at this moment.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
That's weird.
Here we go.
And welcome to the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink on day 2 of the 55th Annual Codfish Bowl Tournament. My name is Seth Dorensky, joined by Matt Meisenbacher. And Matt, we got the matchup the Beacons probably dreaded, a Wesleyan Cardinals team that is anchored by an All-American goalie in Tim Sestak. And if you have followed the Codfish Bowl, especially over the past 3 years, the Beacons' Achilles heel has been facing a hot goaltender and seeing some goals go in late against them, including last year losing in the final 56 seconds. What do the Beacons need to do this year to turn the tide after losing 3 straight one-goal championship games?
Seems like every year, right? Every year
Every single one.
We come into the tournament and, on paper you think, okay, they should have a fairly decent time on paper, and then a goaltender decides he's going to try to get on some NHL scouting sheets and stops, 40, 50, 60 shots in a night. Yeah, it's going to be a tough test for the Beacons. I think they're playing really well, Seth. I like what they're doing right now. They seem to be getting healthier, which I think is something that was missing in the first half of the season. And they go against a Wesleyan team tonight that plays in the NESCAC. This is going to be a very physical game. You mentioned the goaltender. We'll get to we'll get you the statistics here in a bit. This kid can stop pucks, and I take a look at the stat sheet a little bit before pregame. They have scoring on all their lines. So a lot of depth scoring. There's really no standouts in terms of getting points. So they're going to need all 4 lines tonight.
While Sestak will be making his 50th career start, the Beacon senior goalie Bailey McBurney, a late scratch. He may play in this game, but a skate issue during warm-ups is taking him out. It'll be sophomore Nolan Egbert making just his 2nd career home start, and he'll have to do it against an All-American on the opposite side.
Yeah, for all the forwards and D out there, classic goaltender, right? Something goes wrong in warm-ups with his equipment, and you know what? I give McBurney credit on one hand, rather than trying to tough through, and if it's truly a large issue, rather deal with it in warm-ups than get into the first period where it can really hurt you. So yeah, we noticed it. The group up here saw him, talking with the coaching staff. They seem to be trying to do something with his skate, it looked like. So hopefully they can get that taken care of, but it's going to be Egbert at least to start this hockey game.
McBurney still on the dress list, will be available. The question is when, and then when do you make the change if Egbert plays well to begin? Yesterday, McBurney did make a season-high 30 saves. Let's take a look at the all-time series. These two teams have met 17 times all time, and it's interesting. The Beacons won 5 in a row, 6 of the first 7. Wesleyan then won 5 in a row before the Beacons have won 4 of 5, including a big win back in 2014. Peter McIntyre, 4 assists as the Beacons scored 4 goals in the first period to run out to a 4-1 lead, led 6-1 after 2. And a fun matchup between a pair of UConn grads, Chris Potter in his 17th season for Wesleyan, Peter Belisle in his 14th season. These guys not only were teammates at UConn, they also were grad assistants and roommates the second time around. So there's a little bit of bragging rights as Belisle holds a 4-2 all-time record over Potter. And it's a fun matchup because typically the NESCAC and the NEHC, typically 2 of the better leagues in New England, although the NEHC probably has a claim to being the best team at least last season.
Yeah, and you mentioned the coaching matchup. Obviously, that's going to be something we're going to be watching all night, how these two coaches who know each other very well go toe-to-toe. But you take a look at the Wesleyan roster, you see a lot of prep school kids. We got Milton Academy on there, Del Barton, Berkshire, Kent. Go down the list, St. Augustine, Deerfield. These are a lot of prep school kids, and they've been known to be able to skate. Prep school hockey, a lot of good skaters and kids that are pretty nifty with the puck. Not the biggest kids, but they'll definitely bring a little bit of physicality. So it's a good matchup for the Beacons, even despite the record. And don't let it fool you, folks. They start the season a little bit later than the NEHC does. So don't let the record fool you. Only 4-3, but it's a good Wesleyan team. It's a good test. It's going to make UMass Boston have to earn the Codfish. They haven't done it in 6 years, so if they can do it tonight, that's a good way to end the weekend and break the streak.
Wesleyan 5-3 after a win yesterday, 2-1, a comeback win over Fitchburg State, a pair of goals early in the third. The Beacons had a much easier time of it, 9-2 win over first-year program Albertus Magnus. We'll bring you the highlights right now as the Beacons scored 8 goals over the final 40 minutes. Those were the highlights from yesterday's 9-2 win. 12 different players recorded a point, 8 different players scored, and 5 had multiple point games. Matt, you look at the statistics, and Wesleyan's played a few less games, but the two big stats that jump out to me is the scoring. UMass Boston #1 in the country, almost a full quarter of a goal higher than #2 SUNY Geneseo. But the penalty kill, you see a Wesleyan team that's tied for 4th in the country. The Beacons, after 17 consecutive penalty kills, still in the bottom quarter in the country. That PK could be a difference today.
Yeah, you would hope that they've turned the corner. It started out pretty rough. You mentioned the beginning of the season. My goodness, it was awful, and they've tightened things up a little bit. But 77% is pretty poor, and it's not something. I know Coach Blyle preaches discipline, especially in a game like this. You know, these NESCAC teams have a tendency to be able to really move the puck, and the last thing you want to do is put yourself shorthanded. Especially, and the other thing we should note, Seth, Egbert did not come in with the mentality of starting today. Now, any goaltender will tell you they prepare themselves as if, you know, for this exact scenario, as if they are going to start. You see McBurney take the ice a little bit late here, but Egbert's in the starter crease, and he's got to have a quick turnaround here. They're going to need him early on.
Let's take a look at the team leaders. UMass Boston has played a few more games, and you see it in the stats. The Beacons as that top-scoring team. Nolan Redler, 13 goals, one of the leaders in all of Division III. 8 of those have come on the power play, including 5 in his last 4 games. He's been red hot. Daniel Nachbaur had 2 goals yesterday, up to 19 points on the season. On the opposite side, you mentioned this Wesleyan team. They don't have a lot of top scorers, and they're without one of their top scorers. Tyler Wyatt has now missed 6 games in a row after scoring 4 goals in the opener. He's the only player with more than 3 goals for this Wesleyan team. A key loss against the Beacons team that can score with the best of them.
I agree with you, and I really like what this top line is. We'll bring you the Beacon starters here in a second, but really like what this top line has done here. Skinner, Nachbaur, and Peters had a great game yesterday. Coach Blyle is going to rely on them heavily in this hockey game.
Let's take a look at the goalie matchup for these two teams. Tim Sestak, an All-American a season ago, a phenomenal year, leading Wesleyan to their most wins in program history and their most NESCAC victories with 16 and 13. Nolan Egbert, a little bit more of an unknown. The sophomore making his 6th collegiate start, had 1 start as a freshman for this year, 3-0-1. His last start, though, probably his most difficult. 27 saves, 4 goals allowed in that 4-4 overtime tie against Suffolk. Has not played the last 3 games as the Beacons have gone on a 3-0-1 run.
And Sestak, the same percentage, a little bit deceiving there last year. Seth came in, finished the season 93.6 on the same percentage, so he's fully capable.
Let's take a quick look at the Beacons player to watch. Really, it's the top line, but Jeffrey Skinner has been red hot. 3 assists yesterday, 7 points in his last 4 games. He'll be out there with Chris Peters and Daniel Nachbaur. That group had 3 goals and 5 assists in the win over Albertus Magnus. Bringing the Beacon starters and then the Wesleyan starters after this commercial break.
Jeffrey Skinner, sophomore forward, Houston, Texas.
Chris Peters, sophomore forward, Rochester, New York.
Daniel Nachbaur, senior forward, Richland, Washington.
Nick Albano, junior defenseman, Beverly, Massachusetts.
Nick DeLucio, freshman, defense, Aston, Pennsylvania.
Nolan Egbert, sophomore goaltender, Massapequa, New
UMass
York.
Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, where it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
Just finished up the national anthem here at the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. 55th Annual Codfish Bowl Championship game just moments away. First, let's get you the starters for this Wesleyan team. Spencer Fox, Walker Harris, and Cam Perry to the top line. Harris, an All-American a year ago. He's really the guy to watch offensively. Matt Zandy and Jake LaChance. LaChance, one of 2 players not in the lineup yesterday, in the lineup today, and he gets the start. Tim Sestak in net. Matt, the keys to the game, you can choose a lot of them, but realistically, in large part, it's what UMass Boston needs to do every day.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of the same things. But, for me, Seth, it's sticking to the game plan. I mean, this team really, we've seen a tale of two tapes here with this hockey team. And when they're at their best, they move pucks pretty quickly. Nothing too fancy. They move pucks through the neutral zone. They enter the zone and maybe look to make one more pass before trying to fire it on net. This team's going to shoot a lot today. Got to continue, especially with a goaltender like this. Got to get as many shots on goal as possible.
On the opposite side, the question is, how long do we see Egbert, and how well does Egbert play? Not easy for this sophomore goalie who, and as a backup goalie, you don't necessarily expect to be playing when you're not in the starting lineup, and all of a sudden told probably about 30 minutes before this game started that he would have to go.
And I'm telling you, knowing playing with Coach Blyle, I bet you this is Egbert's show. He's not the type of guy, and he trusts Egbert. It's not like Egbert is a few, pegs down from McBurney. He trusts him to win him a hockey game. I think this is Egbert's show today.
The Beacons in their home white uniforms with the blue pants and blue trim. Wesleyan in some really sharp road unis, the black unis with the red trim and the white numbers. The Beacons send an early feed. It's Redler on net. Bross out top to Deluzio, who gets the start alongside Nick Albano. Albano has been playing extremely well as of late. A goal and 5 assists in his last 4 games. Wesleyan breaks out of the zone with Fox. Spencer Fox just a bit offside as he came in with Parrots. And we'll get an early face-up just outside the Beacons end.
His first goal, obviously, most hockey games is pretty critical, but especially for the Beacons, you definitely want to try to get Egbert a lead here and get him some comfortability in net.
Well, especially, the players on this team probably aren't thinking about the history. It's a little bit easier for us to focus on all that extra stuff. The Beacons 5 and 15 all-time in Codfish Bowl championship games. That just misses for an early icing call against Wesleyan. 5 and 15, but to make matters,
not very good.
Make matters actually even a little bit worse as you see Peter Belisle, who picked up his 200th career victory yesterday. The Beacons have lost 9 of those 15 championship games by a single goal and 3 in overtime. Chance here for Peters, who couldn't quite get there. Peters behind the net for Skinner, looking for Nachbaur, who scored twice yesterday, but a little bit off the mark with the pass.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Peters try to fire that puck there, Seth. You win it. It's a nice face-off win. You move to the center, and I think he double-clutched just a bit. He had a quick lane to fire it at the top of the slot. I think he tried to make one more move, maybe get the goaltender to commit, and gave the defense a chance to get on him there. I'd like to see him just fire that puck.
It'll be Michael Kerbrat and Derek Caruso in the face up top. The Beacons' third line of Caruso, Jack Riley, and Evan Roviak, newly put together as Roviak came back for the first time since the opening weekend of the season. There's a shot from Browning that's kicked away nicely by Sestak. All 3 of the players in the Beacons' third line scored yesterday, with Caruso adding an assist.
It's a really nice face-off win by Caruso.
Caruso yesterday set up the Beacons' 9th goal, won the face-off to himself, and then sent it across the goal line for an easy tap-in for Roviak. Chased into the zone by Jordan Rose, the junior forward out of Powell, Ohio. Rose dishes it off. They find the player just into the zone, but that shot easily knocked down by Caruso as there was contact in front. Lead pass looking for Roviak, who's able to corral it for a moment, and then loses it to Matt Zandy, one of the starting defensemen for Wesleyan. Zandy off the boards for Cobrin, and the Beacons pick it away. Dakota Keene out there on the Beacons' 4th line with Andy Walker, and recently reinserted into the lineup Billy Grant, who had his first collegiate DNP yesterday. Long stretch pass is tipped up into the Beacons bench and will get a stoppage.
See the puck zipping around pretty good, and that's something we can expect pretty much all game. And these teams both can move the puck. They've got some skill, and the speed is going to be something that both defensive cores are going to have to compensate for. You see early on Wesleyan packing the house, making it pretty obvious they're going to keep both D and their center very low in the defensive zone.
Controlled by Wesleyan. It's Quincy Gregg, the former Skidmore man, who's in his 2nd season with the Cardinals after 2 years with the Thoroughbreds. Behind the net, Albano, who had an assist in yesterday's contest, just across the red line and dumped right back in. Nolan Egbert will watch that one go by. He's yet to have to make a save here in the opening 2.5 minutes. Sestak's had to make 2 or 3. Shot from distance is bodied down by Deluzio. Chipped ahead just out of the reach of Keene and handled by Dunderdale. Dunderdale through the legs of a Beacon over for Gregg, his defensive partner. Right onto the tape of the forward coming off the bench. That's Cobring. Cobring to the near side for Pratt, and Pratt's shot goes well wide. Working with it now, it's Colin Cobb, who's being bodied there by Andy Walker. Cardinals come away with it, but it's handled by Albano. Albano rips a look for Nicken. This should be enough for an icing, and it will be, and we'll take our first look at the Wesleyan. No, we're going to go back to the UMass Boston bench. As see Peter Belisle there, win number 200 yesterday in his 14th season, 2016 AHCA National Coach of the Year. And Matt, you can probably talk about it. You were there when he won his 100th. It's amazing how far this program has come. Even in the last 6 years to get to 200, they've become a much more consistent national power.
Well, not only that, I was there when the program really made the turn. And it's funny talking with Andrew Burke, who coaches for a team down in Philadelphia right now. You know, we were talking, as that shot doesn't miss by much, we were talking how far the program has come. His senior class, they were about a 500 team, middle of the pack, and by my senior year, they were national contenders. So Coach Belisle, we talk about it almost every broadcast. Tremendous what he's done for this program as he continues to climb the ranks of the all-time wins list.
And this has been a trying season for Belisle, losing his mother in early December. The Beacons so banged up throughout first semester. Finally back to almost full strength as they had every player skating in the new year, although two guys still not ready for physical contact at practice yet. Wesleyan with the puck in the Beacon zone. It's chipped around by Petruzella, but the Cardinals able to slow down that cycle. Up top, chance here for Drew Pitcher. Will send it down low behind the net, looking for Fox. Top line back out there for Wesleyan, feeding the blue line. There's a shot that Egbert makes the save. Big, fat, juicy rebound, bounces around. Harris has it. Harris backhand shot, and he scores. It's 1-0 Wesleyan, just 3 minutes and 52 seconds in. And the 2017 NESCAC Rookie of the Year gives the Cardinals a 1-0 advantage.
Well, it's funny. This Wesleyan team reminds me a lot of the Beacons. They work hard off the wall. They activate the D, and you can see there way too much time given. You know, that's a great stop by Egbert, the initial save. He made the blocker save. The rebound was in the slot. Beacons didn't really have a chance to clear, but then gave way too much time. And that backhand, that's always a tough shot for any goaltender to read off the tape. It beat him on the blocker side. Wesleyan up 1-0.
Beacons find themselves trailing for the first time in this year's Codfish Bowl. Beacons have done a nice job the last couple of years of coming back from some deficits, including a deficit last year against SUNY Cortland of 1-0 before eventually losing 2-1. Controlled there by Peters, but he can't quite keep it on the end of his stick. And then working with it is Tyler Levine. Harris, the senior forward out of Boulder, Mass, picks up his third goal of the year. That's tied for second on the team. And Egbert makes the save on Jordan Rose. We'll take a look at that goal once again. And just way too much time for Harris there, one of their top players offensively.
Yeah, as we take a look at this replay, Seth, just watch, and I'm not sure where we're going to pick it up, but Egbert made a save, and a little bit of a technical issue. We'll bring that to you next whistle, but he makes a save, and, you know, the rebound, maybe not exactly where he wanted it, but it goes towards the slot, and we'll see. We'll show you just a little bit too much time and space there, and Harris was able to tuck it far side, beat Egbert on the blocker side.
Cardinals able to win the faceoff. Coburn immediately took a shot. It was knocked down by a Beacon as Browning gets tangled up with the Wesleyan Cardinal, and behind the net, it's still controlled by Wesleyan.
Oh boy.
Caruso trips up a player, and a chance for a 3-on-2 if Riley can get there. Riley to the near side for Robiak. Robiak holds, finds Riley, and he can't get the shot off as he's knocked to the ice. Go the other way, and it's a mini 3-on-2. Centering feed gets all the way to the far side. Shot, Egbert makes the save, and Caruso's able to clear the zone. This should be nice, but Riley's got a step, and they'll wave off the icing. Riley looking for options as he's pushed the ice once again. Feed comes out all the way to the neutral zone where it's corralled by Dakota Keene, and the Beacons will have to touch up. Just over 5 minutes gone by, the difference a Walker-Harris goal as Wesleyan takes a 1-0 lead in this, their first ever Codfish Bowl title game. SUNY Cortland last year, a first-time entrant who won it over the Beacons 2-1. Keene with space takes a shot that goes just wide. Not sure if Sestak had to make the save there. And Wesleyan will look to get it out of the zone. This is a very physical Wesleyan team as Andy Walker answers the hit of his own.
Oh, yeah. They'll hit you. And pitcher caught an edge there, and Keene was in all alone. Like you said, not quite sure if Sestak had to make that save, but nevertheless, it was a partial breakaway.
Albano through a couple of players, darts into the zone for the circle, has his shot get knocked up high into the boards. Good job by Jake LaChance to get in front of it. And the Cardinals will successfully clear the zone. Walker retreats just inside his own zone to pick it up. Walker onto the tape of Redler, tries to tap it all the way down low, but LaChance gets there first, and Wesleyan will go the other way with it. Puck is loose in the neutral zone, and Bross tips it just out of the reach of Redler. Beacons had the better end of things for maybe the first 2.5 minutes, and now it's a lot more even, if not slightly tilted in the Cardinals' favor. Petruzzello all the way around for Osborne, a pair of freshman D for the Beacons out of Arizona. All the way up top, it's Nickett, who had a very nice game yesterday, including scoring a goal. Bross avoids taking a big hit and corrals the puck, needs help, and will send it all the way across for Petruzzello. Tries to send it down low, and it's kicked away there by Peretz.
Wesleyan doing a really good job in the D zone, Seth. They're making it very hard for these Beacon forwards to even find one passing option. They're attacking. If you notice, folks, they're going to attack down low, not allow the Beacons much time on the wall whatsoever. And then if the Beacons do possess, they attack that side of the puck. So as a puck carrier, you've really got to make a quick decision.
Big hit from Bross gets the Beacons another chance. Here's a shot from Browning through traffic. It goes off the skate of a player in front. Getting tangled up were Cobb and Nickett. And it's handled by Wesleyan as they gain the red line and not much more. Fast-paced beginning to this Codfish Bowl championship game as Wesleyan scored less than 4 minutes in. Here's Nachbaur, darts through the double team and gets very little behind the shot, and Sestak the easy save.
Great pass by Skinner. He put that right on the tape in stride. Just Nachbaur couldn't get everything he wanted on it.
Kerbrat's pass is knocked down, and it's Browning who tips it out of the zone. Handled by the Cardinal. Almost 8 minutes gone by. The Beacons nearly come away with the steal right along the Beacons logo at center ice. Instead, it's Kerbrat looking for options, sends it in on target, and it's knocked away by Egbert, who was a late addition to the starting lineup as Bailey McBurney had some skate issues. LaChance's shot gets knocked down, puck loose, and the backhand shot is denied by Albano, getting a stick in on that look from Rose.
These rebounds are sticking out a little bit, Seth. Just gotta, as a decor, gotta be careful here. That's the second time now where that rebound has been in a spot where if there's a Wesleyan Cardinal there, they can smash that home pretty easily.
Albano ahead for Peters, who will dump and immediately head to the bench. The Beacons are going to send out that third line. Staying on is Skinner, and now he'll head to the bench as the Beacons will look to provide a little bit of forecheck pressure. Here comes a 3-on-2, although Caruso darts off the bench and helps out defensively. Puck goes off the back of the cage. Still controlled by Wesleyan. Working with it here is Cuomo. Cuomo dishes it off, looking for Cobrin. Puck is loose and picked up by Albano, but just out of the reach of Riley.
Good stick there, Caruso. That's offside, but a nice play. Let's bring in the goal if we can. And just watch again, folks, as Egbert, I think we're going to pick it up right after he makes this initial stop here. Yeah, watch. There's right across. There's the save. Now watch this. That rebound in the slot. He comes across. Look at all this time. And, you know, a little stick check there. That a good foot forward is going to be find a way to find his way around that. That was just way too much time and space. No one attacked the puck carrier, and then the backhand beat Egbert. It's a nice goal by Harris, but I think something that can be corrected if you're a Beacon coach.
It also looked like there was almost a little bit of a pick play there by a Wesleyan player who got tangled up in front of two Beacons, and that left a lot more space for Harris. That shot just misses high and wide up the stick of Go Yamira. The freshman of North Hills, New York, did not miss by much. There's a little daylight along that far post. Petruzzello unable to clear the zone. Now a chance in the slot, and the shot is kicked away.
Huge.
Good look from Colin Cobb.
Nice. And Osborne, just a really nice play there. Blocked that shot. Didn't have really any other move. Didn't have an alternative, but took away the shooting lane. Was able to make that block. That's a nice defensive effort there.
Nearing the midway point of this first period, it's Wesleyan leading 1-0 on the goal from Walker Harris almost 4 minutes into the contest. Have yet to see a penalty here through the opening 10 minutes. Behind the net, it's Nick DeLuzio. Tape to tape with Albano, and he feeds it ahead for Bross. Beacon's second line out there. Bross has Redler to his left and Nickett to his right. Nickett tries to send it across just out of the reach of Redler.
I don't mind that play there. That's your top scorer, Redler. You want to try to find him the puck. Just zipped it a little bit past where Redler could get it.
This Beacon's second line was their top line early on, but as they struggled yesterday against Albertus, as Albano tried to send a shot and it's knocked down, and coming over to pick up the loose puck is DeLuzio. Macon wins the battle just out of the reach of Redler once again, and Wesleyan will look to go the other way on the tape of Peretz, who sends a high shot off of Egbert, and it's in. Goes off the front of Egbert and bounces in just before DeLuzio could get it, and it's Cam Peretz, the second man of that top line, to score a goal, and that's a 2-0 Wesleyan lead, and that's one you can't give up.
Well, Egbert, a couple things there. I think Egbert took it off right where the shoulder and almost your neck meet. That's a really tough spot as a goaltender, and he lost it. It went up. It went directly in the air. He lost it. But I would have also liked to seen the D try to take that shooting lane away a little bit. They kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but a little bit late getting to that forward there. That's just a combined couple bad things going the Beacon's way. Find themselves down 2-0 here, and I'll tell you what, they need to find themselves a little bit of momentum, because you see this Wesleyan team's kind of taking it to them right now.
Cam Peretz's career-high fourth goal as a junior, came in with 6 career goals in 55 games for the junior out of Palmer, Massachusetts. This Wesleyan team actually has more players from Massachusetts than the Beacons do. They have 9. The Beacons have just 7. Long stretch pass for Peters is just wide. It'll come in on Sestak, and this has to be the Beacons' first offensive zone draw in probably 7 or 8 minutes. We'll take a look at that last goal from Peretz.
Yeah, again here, you see, and that's just as a D-man, Albano, I would love to see him attack a little bit harder there and not give him that shot. That being said, it's a pretty easy angle as a goaltender. You've got to be able to make those from that angle. So like to see a couple things there. Albano be able to take that shooting lane a little bit, but also Egbert track your rebounds, even though that one's a little bit tough. Got to find a way to track that one.
And DeLuzio was probably an inch or two away from keeping that puck out of the net. It ended up bouncing in right before he could get his stick there. If that puck takes one more bounce, DeLuzio probably keeps it out, and this game is still 1-0.
And let's be honest, great shot by Peretz. I mean, he didn't have much. He's got a D on him, and he's got a defenseman. We're going to get a whistle here. A defenseman on him and a goaltender that's fairly sizable. That was the one place he could go with the puck, and it ended up working in his favor.
Beacons are whistled for an offside. You see the coaching staff there of Wesleyan. Not only do you have the Chris Potter connection, but his assistant, David Lunn, is a former Beacon. He played at UMass Boston from 2007 to 2011, 81 career games, 9 goals, and 19 assists. Peter Belisle likes to make this Codfish Bowl a bit of a family affair. Last year we saw Andrew Burke and his Bryn Athyn team come up and play in the 54th Codfish Bowl, and this year you not only had those two connections, but also Kyle Wallach, the first-year head coach of Albertus Magnus, formerly coached with Belisle as well at UConn. 3-on-2 chance for the Beacons' third line. It's Riley joined by Petrozella and Robiak. Riley, quick shot. This is a little bit wide of the near post, and it'll be tipped up for an offensive zone draw.
I'm fine with that. Wesleyan really looking strong. We'll take a look at the replay here. Really looking strong on defense, Seth. But just take a look. Again, and Albano has time to attack there. He's got coverage on the backside, so you don't really have to worry about a pass. Would love to see him get a little bit more aggressive there. And Egbert, again, just got to do a little bit better job tracking that puck.
Wesleyan wins the draw in their own defensive zone. Brought into the zone here by Andrew Pratt, freshman out of Newton, Massachusetts. Player's lost his glove below the goal line. It's Yamira who gets knocked down. 7.5 to go. The Beacons would love to cut this deficit to 2-1. Really, you'd love to see a goal go in against Sestak, who's a goalie who can steal some games, making his 50th career start, has 9 career shutouts. Caruso gets tripped up, no call. Shot from distance, save, and immediately put in through the 5-hole. It's 3-0 Wesleyan as Egbert made the save, but the rebound bounced right in front. And I believe it's going to be Andrew Pratt who poked it home for his first collegiate goal.
We're going to get a goalie change. You got to do it. You're
Have
down.
to.
Yeah, you're down 3 here, and that's another.
But it's not Egbert.
Yeah.
Or it's not McBurney. It's Best.
No, absolutely. I was about to say, McBurney must seriously be dealing with a equipment issue. It's just tough. Could really use him here, but Egbert not the start you had hoped for. And that's another rebound where, boy, you'd really like to be able to do something more than just poke that right out into the slot. But I don't mind the call from Belisle. You're down 3 quick here in the first period. You've got to try to change momentum. And one of your only options, just flip your goaltender. But like you said, not McBurney in net.
3 goals in 13 minutes for Wesleyan, and all 3 coming off rebounds where the Beacons were unable to clear the puck or knock it away from in the front of their crease. It'll be Sam Best, the freshman of Woburn, Mass, making his 3rd collegiate appearance and first since he started against Norwich. Got roughed up in that one, giving up 5 goals on 14 shots on the season. He's made 14 saves on 20 total shots.
Yeah, the freshman out of Woburn, a local kid. So
D1 talent, though, was at AIC as there's a shot and Best able to glove it away. Played at AIC last year, was the team's 3rd goalie during their run to the Frozen Four, and then was able to get all of his eligibility back and transfer to UMass Boston to start his 2nd freshman year.
Well, as a coaching staff, you did what you could. You changed your goalie. Now you got to put it on your forwards and your D. You got to generate some offense here. Not nearly as many shots on goal as I'd hoped at this point in the hockey game. And Wesleyan has done a great job, really, in all 3 zones. The Beacons got to find something here. They need a line to step up and start generating some momentum.
Wesleyan just seems to have more energy than this Beacons team as the puck comes out to LaChance. LaChance will try to send a look in, goes off the knee there at Petruzella. And the other thing is Wesleyan's chemistry. Yesterday it seemed like the Beacons were firing on all cylinders. Wesleyan seems to be working really well together, making the right plays. Peters up for Osborne, who can't quite hold on to it. Bounces around the skates of a Beacon, and it's Nachbaur with it. Nachbaur for Skinner. Skinner, quick shot, and that goes off the blocker of Sestak, and will go the other way with Wesleyan. One of the Beacons' better chances here of the first period, though. Nachbaur right back into the zone. Dishes off for Peters, looking for Skinner. Backhand feed had Nachbaur, and he skated right through it. An easy cover for Sestak.
Well, that's just what I think Coach Blyle ordered up there. We'll take a look at the goal. That's a great shift. We'll see who he puts out second. But here's the goal. It's just a shot from distance. The rebound, you know, as a collegiate goalie, got to do better. You can't just force. That's a shot from the blue line. And you've got to find a way to tuck that rebound to the right or to the lefty. You can't poke it right back out in front. Too easy for the forward to tuck that one home. But let's see. So we go back out there, and we've got the second line. So Coach Blyle, I like what that last line did. We got the Redler, Bross, and Nitkin line out there. Let's see if they can continue.
Bross, no-look feed for Redler. Redler tried to feed it ahead for Nitkin. That pass is intercepted. Bross comes in with a heavy hit. Not enough for a call. Puck is loose with 2 Cardinals and 2 Beacons fighting for it along the boards. 5 minutes to go. The Beacons still trail 3-0.
Redler's got to help out there. They had three Cardinals on that puck. Redler was waiting for it to squeak out, and instead Wesleyan comes away with the puck.
Puck is still in the zone, though. Bross trying to push it right for Nitkin, and Nitkin now fighting with it with Dunderdale as it comes all the way through, and this one will be played by Best, who during the preseason, a big thing his teammates said is he's a goalie who's very good moving the puck himself, so that could be something to watch as this game goes along. Browning tries to put a big hit there on Yamira, and it's dumped into the Cardinal zone. Yamira with it in the neutral zone, has it broken up by Browning, and he'll feed it across for Riley. 4:15 to go. The Beacons have already used their second and third string goalies, with their number 1 goalie unavailable due to a skate issue. Caruso tries to go around the defenseman, loses the puck in the process, and will be dumped back in as Albano is now on the bench after breaking his stick. To the zone, Sestak will try to play it. Doesn't get a ton behind it, but it'll be enough to get him back into the goal. It's Caruso fighting for it behind the net. Caruso is having a career season along with Riley here on this third line. Browning whiffs on the D-to-D pass, and it'll be Wesleyan just crossing the red line and dumping it in. First player there is Browning, who will send it around the boards and not out. Shot from LaChance goes right into the body of Roland, and it'll be dumped right back in as Browning will retreat. 3:25 left in the first period in what has been a terrible period for the Beacons. Already trailing 3-0 and having to go to their third string goalie after a skate malfunction and a struggling backup. Here's Nachbaur, who tries to skate through traffic, is dispossessed, and it's Peretz. Peretz dishes off for Harris. Harris, the quick shot, shoulder save from Best, and that was a huge one.
That's a big stop. That one goes in, and you've got yourself a massive problem. You're already down 3, and you really needed a save there. So I credit Best. Coming off the bench, you're probably a little bit cold at that point. That's a nice save on a 2-on-1, giving your team a chance here to maybe get one before the end of the period.
top line for Wesleyan. Beacon's second line out there. And it's sent down low. We haven't seen the fourth line for the Beacons in a while. I know it's a little too early to double shift, but that group has been noticeably absent since giving up either the second or the third goal as the Beacons break out with the second line. Redler into the zone looking for Bross, who holds off a player. Back for Redler, in tight, goes into Sestak, and we'll see a stoppage. Is it going to be enough for a penalty on Redler, or will it just be a face-off out of the zone as Redler ran through Sestak there trying to put in the backhand shot?
That's really, yeah, I don't think you could call that. I hate those calls, those incidental. So I think I would, yeah, I'm glad. A good no call there. Good no call.
Here it is.
He gets bumped. I mean, he's trying to make him play. Watch as he comes through. He's going to take a hit right there. That's why he falls down. Yeah, good no call.
And the faceoff will stay in the zone because of the bump. Beacons will send the top line back out there. They have been really using lots of line of Ryan. Rope back, shot in. Saxon Trinity, the sound from the hit. Pass ropes in, still in there of them. West Hasbury, goal.
That's doing attention porting. Everything they get from there's too many options for hard to beat him right down.
Inner Schneiden to Bobby. Set goals up to go here.
And not right spot, puts Howard out. Got a general thing, they don't call. You ran it, he's helpful because he's slowing down with Steve's, but a real challenge to the point.
That's not even she's under the bar like Red. And we see him on the back row. And the board helps us set.
And mine's a weeks. You got a little buy hockey game in.
And Wisely on board. She ended this here. Has a goal and 60 jump. This is listen to though. Harris got down.
Again, I said before, pretty how Wayne had 4 blocks sitting in the defense, or have blocks in that period. They really fixed it. But it seems like they little trouble. You know, that lower moving board sitting at and hope come and work. So I don't think they can self-read.
That can't play around. Hawking has to go out of the way. Operating like so hell. For either round. Harris back by Hodge. He sees he kicks of it. And he don't have not till 20.
That would start better and come back and see a bad bout and want to, win his home. It just started fighting was down 40 usually, and you stop leading. It's every up to your play, but boy, didn't seem to fully that, and when they're they find better opportunities. That just not kind of Italy. We win inferior, but now you find a way more entire opportunity, and immediately so it. Just hopefully you just got to win right.
Round take look at work. Not from a it's for talking about play loss. As the concept that leading by the team is
play cross community. Once hockey's ended, it's tough to keep it on. So definitely have fun play cross and just around the boys and staying. Definitely playing lacrosse just kept me in shape. Like once the hockey season ended, it's tough to keep yourself going. So it's definitely fun to play lacrosse and just run with the boys and stay in shape. But coming into the season, I was fired up. Being a senior this year is awesome to take in a group of 12 freshmen, and it's definitely been fun. And I think we're moving in the right direction. I definitely put a factor in my confidence playing lacrosse, just being out there and just kind of seeing the same type of plays and very similar games. So, yeah, definitely had an impact. I've definitely been hitting the gym a little harder, and those are the ups and downs that were kind of, on the bubble of the I think kind of just keeping my head clear, just helping each other and definitely picking each other up. And, yeah, it's been good just having support from everyone, from the coaches this year and from all the players. It's been fun. The consistency is definitely there. It's tough to kind of get into the mindset to play 2 games in a weekend, back to back. But yeah, everything's kind of just been moving smooth, and definitely helps the mind when you're preparing for the games, and it's exciting. Definitely have a lot of new guys, and it's been fun teaching them the ways. I've come a long way and in and out of the lineup, but this year's definitely been a better season for me, just being in the lineup and helping other guys, and I think we're going to do big things.
And welcome back to the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. We apologize for some technical difficulties that happened late in the period. You didn't miss much. The Beacons played a little bit better but still trail 3-0. My name is Seth Rensky, joined by Matt Meisenbacher. Matt, we'll take a look at the stats right now from this first period. UMass Boston somehow is leading in shots and faceoffs, but that's the only thing they're leading in, because they're not only trailing on the scoreboard, but they're getting outworked a little bit, and I'd also say Wesleyan probably has the majority of the very good chances in this game.
Yeah, a little bit of flurry there in the third period, which is why I think, the shot holes are where they are. Quite honestly, if the Cardinals don't get a couple bounces there, this could easily be maybe a 1-0 hockey game. I mean, they've had 2 goals where just kind of got things going their way, and they were able to capitalize, and that's why they find themselves up 3. They played, now that being said, they played very sound. There wasn't much. I don't know if I can even name one major mistake they had that period. They played a very clean 20 minutes, so it really didn't leave the Beacons with much to capitalize on, but that doesn't mean the Beacons can't generate offense of their own. I didn't really see much from all 3 and 4 lines. They were able to generate a few shots on goal, but there was really no moment where I felt like the Beacons were in total control of the hockey game. And we said that in the pregame, that this Wesleyan team was going to be a very good test and a very good matchup for this Beacons team. And now it's even a tougher task, as they're home on home ice down 3-0 after the first period.
Well, and we talked about in the opener how the Beacons are playing more consistently, 3-0 and won their last 4. Wesleyan's won 3 in a row, and a big part of it has been their defense. First 5 games, they gave up 4 goals per game. The last 3 games, they've given up 1.33. And now you're asking the Beacons offense to score at least 3 goals in the next 40 minutes, and your defense probably feels like you can't give up another goal.
Yep.
And if you do give up 1, that's probably the max you could give up.
Well, and it's a very tough task for Best. I mean, you're coming off the bench, and any goaltender's going to know I basically have to be perfect. I have to allow my team at least back into this hockey game before I give up another goal. Very tough task for a goaltender who hasn't seen much action this year.
See the goals for Wesleyan. They opened the scoring at 3:52. It was Walker Harris from Spencer Fox and Cam Peretz. Peretz scored at 10:42 on that goal that went off the front of Egbert and then bounced in just before DeLucio could clear. And then at 12:46, it was Andrew Pratt scoring off a John Fialo shot. Rebound bounced right to Pratt, who put it in 5-hole. That was the end of the day for Egbert. Egbert making 4 saves on 7 shots. Sam Best credited with 1 save on 1 shot. Tim Sestak with 9 saves. Right now, we're going to take a look at video of the last time the Beacons won the Codfish Bowl. It was a much easier championship game all the way back in 2014 when the Beacons defeated Southern New Hampshire 6-2, their 5th all-time Codfish Bowl title. And unfortunately, the Beacons are 0 for their last 3 since then. Welcome back to the Edward T. Barrier Ice Rink for the 55th Annual Codfish Bowl Championship game. It's 3-0 Wesleyan, the visitors, over UMass Boston after 1. Let's take a quick look around the rest of the New England Hockey Conference. This was the early start of the day as Hobart and St. John's just underway. Babson takes on St. Michael's College in the Middlebury classic championship game. Plymouth State at New England College, Hamilton College at Skidmore College, Suffolk at Trinity College. And later today, Norwich takes on a SUNY Cortland team that beat UMass Boston last year in their tournament. This time, SUNY Cortland looks to take out the Cadets. A couple fun games for you around the rest of Beaconville. Beacon's women's basketball team did not get off to a great start in 2020. A 34-point loss. The men's basketball team in a much better spot, up by 1 in the final 6 minutes of that conference contest. And Matt, now let's take a look at the highlights from that first period. We only have 8 for you, and most of those are going to come on the Wesleyan end.
Yeah, Wesleyan fans are going to like these, Seth. Take a look as we run through here. It starts right off with a Wesleyan goal. A little bit of a tech issue, but as they come through here, you'll see here in a second, they're just going to come through. It's a shot from distance. And it was one of the things I thought Egbert really struggled with was his rebounds. And as we try to run through this here, hold on. Let's show it to you here. All right, so watch. Now as it comes through, shot from distance. Now watch where the rebound goes. It's right in the middle. And now your defense really, you needed your goal as a goaltender, you need your D to bail you out there. Way too much time and space. He comes in, he's able to stick handle around and tuck it in on the backhand. So a quick 1-0 lead for Wesleyan. UMass Boston really struggled to generate much offense whatsoever. As you take a look, Wesleyan coming right down the ice, and they have no problem just firing. They're not even looking for a pass, Seth. Here's a good stop, I thought, from Egbert in the period, but then they come right back down, and then here's the goal where I really thought, man, if he could just track this one a little bit better, Egbert can make this save. You needed one there. Again, I thought Albano, you see on this angle, just not enough as a defenseman right there, even from an angle where you think your goaltender is going to be able to make that save, and that's on Egbert. Got to find a way to track that puck a little bit better. And then here's the one. This was the end of Egbert's day. That right there, you got to have a better rebound control than that. Right back up the middle. He was able to tuck that one home. And UMass Boston with a little bit of flurry here at the end of the first period. You see a couple shots here. That was a good save. Skinner with a shot. And then Wesleyan coming right back down. I thought if that one goes in, that could be the end of the night. Best with a good save there. His test early on as he comes off the bench. But as you can see, Wesleyan just really capitalizing on all the opportunities that they were given.
Yeah, and they're getting some breaks. Let's go back to that third Wesleyan goal. You're going to see Caruso gets upended, and Sean Pauly puts up his hand. And this is actually the second goal, so we'll show you the second one. So this goal, you'd like to have back.
Yeah.
I mean, it realistically takes the high carom, and unfortunately, DeLucio can't get there. The rebound bounces in. But look at this. Caruso gets tripped up. You see Pauly throw his hand up. Not that I think that's necessarily a trip, but that's another one where 50-50 call. Most of the time you're not going to call, but a Beacon player gets tripped up, extends the play a little bit longer, and then Egbert doesn't make a good stop. Not a good rebound control, but Wesleyan's capitalizing on those 50-50 plays. Their chances, the Beacons haven't even created enough chances where you could really say they haven't capitalized. So very interesting 40 minutes upcoming. Matt, we didn't even talk about it. These seniors have never won a Codfish. They've lost the last 3 years. They blew a 2-goal lead against Salve as freshmen. As sophomores, they lost with 11 seconds left in a tie game. Last year with 56 seconds left. This group wanted to win the Codfish. Every group wants to win the Codfish.
Yep.
Really strong senior class, and now they find themselves in their worst spot they've ever been playing in the Codfish, down by 3 goals in a championship game.
It's never an easy tournament to win. Never, in my however many years being in this tournament, playing and broadcasting, never an easy tournament to win. And here we are again. It seems like history is repeating itself, down 3-0 here at home. But again, plenty of hockey left, and I'm sure this Beacons team is going to find ways to make some adjustments in the locker room and come out here with a little bit of energy and a little bit of spark. Wouldn't be too surprised if Coach Blyle throws out his fourth line here and really hit momentum hard and fast early on, but we'll wait and see as we've got under 2 minutes before the start of the second.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want your fourth line to be able to do something. We didn't see them much at all as the Beacons tried to get a goal back late in that first period, but Dakota Keene's your captain. Evan Robiak, Andy Walker. It's a more offensive fourth line than we're used to seeing out of the Beacons. Another player we really haven't talked about is Billy Grant. I don't think we've called his name once. Grant, the third member of that fourth line today, and he was sat out yesterday because they wanted more production out of him. Well, it'd be nice to see Grant involved a little bit more as this game goes along. The Beacons waiting to get back on the ice, and you got to figure that if the Beacons are going to turn this game around, they're going to show early energy here in the first period. They were the better team to open the first period, but it only lasted about 2 minutes. this first 5 minutes crucial for UMass Boston if they're going to get back into this game.
Yeah, and they got to support their goaltender. You're down 3. You've got to get, I think, more than just the next one. You've got to probably get the next 2 because as strong as this Wesleyan team has looked on defense, you've got to find a way to crawl back within. I would think 1, absolutely by 2 at the very least by the end of this period.
The story in this one, Wesleyan opened the scoring at 3:52 and then 2 goals in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Chase Nolan Egbert, who was only the Beacon starter today because Bailey McBurney had a skate malfunction in pregame, and that pushed him out of the lineup.
Very
Sam
strange.
Best in the game for UMass Boston over the final 7:04, only forced to make 1 save. He's out there to start the second period, the sophomore making his 3rd collegiate appearance. The opposite side, Tim Sestak, an All-American last year, his 50th collegiate start. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Beacons as they start the second down 3-0.
And very strange, Seth. I've obviously any hockey player needs their skates, but the fact that they weren't able to solve the skate issue with McBurney during the pregame, I'd be curious to understand what the issue truly is. Usually, if it's a skate issue, you can remedy that situation enough so you can play. I'll be curious to find out what the issue was and what made it so catastrophic.
Yeah, before the game, McBurney came off during warm-ups and was working with the Beacons goaltending coach on his skates. Nolan Redler came over to the Beacons coaching staff and said Bailey can't go, and we thought McBurney might be able to come back, especially when Egbert was pulled. We thought that could be the time, but McBurney still standing off the bench. Is Bross unable to win the draw? Beacons starting with that second line. This puck will go the length of the ice. Beacons won an icing, they won't get it. Albano across for Nick DeLuzio. DeLuzio to the tape of Bross, who couldn't quite get there. It's been a consistent trend. The Beacons have not been able to hold on to the pucks, really haven't been able to connect nearly as well as they did yesterday against an Albertus Magnus team that was giving them a little bit more space than we've seen from Wesleyan.
And that's the thing. There's really not a ton of places you can go with the puck right now. I mean, Wesleyan's doing a really nice job of not just attacking the puck carrier, but taking away passing lanes.
Bumper.
And it's creating a lot of issues. You see the Beacons already in this period have trouble breaking out of their own zone.
DeLuzio able to get it out of the zone, but not much further as the puck's loose just outside the zone. Tapped around, kept alive there by Pratt, and into the zone and up off of Best there. A good look from the defenseman Dunderdale, and Best makes another big save.
Yeah, that's a nice save. That was a heavy shot by Dunderdale, and he was able to get the glove and the shoulder on it. That's a good stop.
Dunderdale, a freshman out of Hanover, Massachusetts, making his 3rd collegiate appearance. Still looking for that first career point.
Oh, big hit there. That's going to be a penalty.
Pass gets knocked away. Here comes Peters chasing after it, and we've got a stoppage.
It's a penalty, Seth.
This one's going to go against Bross. I don't think Peters necessarily touched that puck, but he also had no idea there was a delayed penalty against the Beacons. Bross goes to the box where he's now spent 37 minutes this year.
Yeah, he came up just a little high on that one. I don't mind the hit. I thought the hit itself was fine, but he got his hands up a little bit, and I think the follow-through on the hit, the result of it, created the interference call. It's a 50-50 call, but still, I don't mind the physicality by Bross.
Beacons 17 for their last 17, but they still stand at just 77.4%. Wesleyan this year has struggled on the power play, coming in right around 12%, 4 of 35. So not necessarily Wesleyan's strong point, but the Beacons, not their strength either, as that shot gets knocked down by the stick of Osborne in front. Wesleyan with the umbrella tactic right now, looking to move it around, and then the player right in front of Best as he makes another save, despite Spencer Fox standing in front of him. On the near side, it's Coburn who sends a shot all the way through, high off the boards. The Beacons bench tries to get loud.
They need something here. They got to kill this off, Seth.
40 seconds gone by. That hits the side of the netting. A huge blast from Jordan Rose. And a lot of people just let out a big exhale of relief as that was a good look.
Beacons need to clear. They're looking a little tired here. They've been killing for a minute straight.
Walker Harris tries to get to the slot, and it's Riley with the steal. Riley will get it into the zone and chase as Caruso gets back off, and there was Riley who was tangled up, and he's going to get called for an interference call.
It's really unnecessary penalty. I don't know what Riley was trying to do there. I mean, he very clearly and obviously hauled him down. And any referee, even in Mite Hockey is going to call that one. That's just a bad penalty. After a really nice play,
And
Riley, he clears the puck. He just hauls him down, Seth. Watch the
right arm
right here. That's just an obvious call. I don't really know what he was thinking there, but he puts his team in a really tough spot now. With 47 seconds, they got to kill off a 5-on-3. And best, I got to give this kid credit. Couple saves early on coming off the bench, and they're going to need him now.
Browning, Caruso, and Albano, the Beacons 3. Caruso was out there for a while and comes straight back out. That's how good of a penalty killer they think he is. Puck was loose, and Caruso is able to just barely get it out of the zone.
That's huge.
37 seconds to go on the primary penalty, a minute 50 to go on the second penalty. So the Beacons need a kill right here, trailing 3-0 already. Walker Harris, the first goal scorer today, and the All-American forward, to the slot for Rose, right back for Harris, all the way back to the near side, back for Harris, and tipped away by Caruso.
Good stick here. 17 on the clock, you get one back.
Up top for Harris, once again, we know he's got a cannon, gives it off for Pitcher. Pitcher down low, not able to handle it that time was Rose with 6 seconds left. Here the long chase, it'll take a while to get that extra skater as the shot goes wide from Pitcher. Down to 1, and the Beacons get a man back. They're still down a man for a minute 10 as the Beacons will get Bross right off the box and into the play for the Beacons as Caruso gets another clearance, but he puts it into the bench, and that costs the Beacons 10 to 15 seconds.
I don't mind it. They can get a change. They can get a change there, Seth. I got to give a shout-out to Caruso there. Tremendous hockey sense, reading those. He had, I think, 2 or 3 passes there where he was able to defend him. That's just a smart hockey player who knows where the puck is going. That's tremendous penalty killing.
Got it out of the zone, was able to tip one shot as Bross wins the faceoff and sends it down the length of the ice. And this is big. The Beacons have killed off the first penalty and now a minute of the second penalty, including over a minute of 5-on-3 action. Maybe this is the spark the Beacons need if they can kill off these final 50 seconds. Beacons do have 4 shorthanded goals this year, although they haven't come close to getting the puck really into the zone of Wesleyan as Bross handles in his own zone. No pressure from Wesleyan, and now he'll fire it down all the way in on Sestak, who knocks it down with the body before it can get to his crease.
And if you can kill this off, Seth, it's funny, you'll get momentum naturally. Your forwards, who aren't penalty killers, will come out with a little bit of energy if you can kill off the remaining 18 seconds.
Tyler Levine does a nice job of getting the puck into the zone and then gets bumped by Bross. Gets it right back from the point. Dishes it off there for Kerbrat. Handled now by Peretz. Peretz gets it back. Slap shot right into the body there of Roland. And that should just about do it as the Beacons back to 5-on-5 after over 3 minutes of penalty killing.
Tremendous. That's a tremendous 5-on-3 kill. Now let's see if they can do something offensively here, try to get some momentum back into this game.
Couple of hits there from Keene and Bross as Bross heads off. Fourth line out there. Shot from DeLucio, tipped just wide by Walker. There was lots of daylight.
Didn't miss by much, that did it.
Did not. That would have been a huge break for the Beacons. Kept in there by Walker. He sends a shot wide. First time we've seen the fourth line in a while, and it's Adkins, not Billy Grant, who is the third member of the fourth line, as Adkins scored his first collegiate goal yesterday as the extra skater. Wesleyan back into the zone. Kerbrat working against Albano, who will send it around the boards. DeLuzio gives chase along with Keene. Beacons get it out of the zone, but it's picked up right away by Wesleyan. Right now, the Beacons are playing with their most momentum and most energy probably of the game as they still trail by 3 after these successful penalty kills. This should go for an icing, and it will. We will get a stoppage just about 6 minutes into the second period, and Matt, it's weird. I would say this is the best the Beacons have felt, despite the fact they haven't created a chance outside of that one Walker look in this period.
You just killed off a 5-on-3, quite honestly. That should be enough to spark some energy back into this hockey club. Right now, it wasn't the start to the period. It wasn't the start to the hockey game. I think nobody really thought they'd be down 3-0 after 1, as we'll get a quick whistle here. But the one area, I think it starts with the breakout set. They just haven't had anything clean out of the zone. Wesleyan's done a great job being really aggressive on the D and taking. They keep their center really low into that zone, so it's very tough on the D to exit the zone with speed, and Beacons got to find a way to adjust.
Top lines both out there, and the puck is won by the Beacons, unable to get it out of the zone, though. Have not seen nearly as much tic-tac-toe passing from this first line as we saw yesterday when they combined for 3 goals and 5 assists. Nachbaur comes away with it, tries to dish it off for Skinner, and it's easily read and taken away by Harris. Wonder how much Wesleyan took away yesterday from what the Beacons did is that's a bad turnover. Harris has it knocked away by Albano with the high stick, totally legal in your own zone. And the Beacons will get time as Wesleyan has to touch up. That's a big play by Albano, and he's able to find Nachbaur off the boards. 2 players in front. Centering feed gets knocked down. The Beacons still fighting for it. Nachbaur being held off by a player, and eventually it's won by Wesleyan as far as the red line. Controlled here by Pitcher. Pitcher looking for options, will float it ahead, aiming for Fox, just a bit out of his reach, and the first player to it is Osborne. Osborne with a bit of time as we're almost 7 minutes into this second period, still scoreless in the period after Wesleyan scored 3 goals in the first. Skinner with a little bit of room, has 3 players in front, quick shot, rebound loose, and Skinner can't quite get to it before he loses the edge. Nachbaur along the far boards as a linesman does a nice job to get out of the way. And now it's Nachbaur once again tracking the loose puck. Nachbaur looking for help, will send it down low, and it bounces off the back of the cage. Pitcher for Wesleyan, dishes it ahead for Levine. Levine into the zone, working against Petruzella. The Beacons try to corral the loose puck, and it's finally picked up by Riley. Riley finds Billy Grant. Grant ahead for Caruso. Caruso's shot gets knocked down and just behind Riley on the rebound. With speed the other way, it's Rose into the zone. Has it knocked away by Browning. Then the kick save from Best. Puck just behind Nickin, who will send a backhand feed for Caruso as the Beacons lines are all kinds of screwy right now. Seeing players from multiple different lines on the ice at moments. Now it's Nickin trying to get it down for Riley, and I wonder if this is an adjustment the Beacons have made as you see Riley, Caruso, and Nickin right now, and Grant was just playing with, I believe it was the second line of Redler, Bross, and Grant there for a moment. So it's a mini 2-on-1 chance here. Cuomo coming in close, and his centering feed is knocked down by Nickin. He was looking for the wraparound.
Yeah, a little 2-on-1 there. It was a pretty good scoring opportunity. But, yeah, Seth, I agree. I think we've got to recalibrate these lines. It's pretty obvious Coach Blyle's juggling things.
Bross's shot knocked down. Redler was providing a screen in front. Puck comes all the way out. We'll see if it has enough legs for an icing, and this one will. So we'll get an offensive zone draw, and we'll see which group Belial sends out. It's going to be the top unit of Peters, Skinner, and Nachbaur who will get a chance on this offensive zone draw.
Well, I'll go right back to the breakout. The one thing I'm noticing, the center of the ice is open, and it's in not only in the D zone, it's in the neutral zone as well. Wesleyan is deciding to lock down on their wing and take away that option. If the Beacons can find a way to use that middle of the ice, especially attacking with speed, I think they'll find some better opportunities on their zone entry.
Nachbaur wins the faceoff over to Skinner. His shot is denied by Sestak. Wesleyan has also done a great job of limiting the Beacons to one chance in the offensive zone. When they do get a look off, they're not getting a second and third chance. Behind the net, working with it here is Cobrin. Cobrin still with it, holding off DeLucio, and DeLucio tips his shot up into the netting.
It's still plenty of time. I mean, you've got half a period left here in the second, plus the third. So you can easily climb your way back in, and this team knows how to score. But they just need a spark, Seth. It seems as though they're trying to maybe ripping the stick a little bit too tight at this point.
UMass Boston yesterday scored 8 goals in the final 40 minutes. Right now they need at least 3 in the final 30-plus minutes to at least tie this game and force overtime. Centering feed in close and poking it just wide was Nachbaur, who scored twice yesterday. Again, had time, just couldn't poke it in on target as Nachbaur bats that one away, hits the boards behind the net. Nachbaur gets around a couple players, wraparound feed, puck is loose. Skinner tried to get it away, puck is still loose and able to clear the zone. Good work from Pitcher. Pitcher gets a little bit of help from Colin Cobb. Cobb dishes it off for Yamira as Wesleyan looks for a little bit of a zone time. Said it's Peters being badgered by Yamira into the zone for Skinner. Skinner the quick shot, Sestak glove save and gets to the rebound, and now a little bit of extracurriculars as looks like that was Quincy Gregg, a little bit of a shove after the play.
Well, I like the fact that Beacons have decided to take the puck to the front of the net, and that's what we need to see. They've been decent on 50-50 pucks today. They've gotten out-muscled on a few that I thought they could have, but that shift right there, a couple times, especially Nachbaur, really driving that puck not looking necessarily for a pass, but driving hard to the front of the net. Now, I like to see that continue. If I'm the Beacons, that's some of the best offense we've had this period.
Redler in the second line out there. Nick and Bross alongside him. Wins it over to the wall. Kept in by Osborne, but it'll be sent right back down the other way. Osborne and Petruzella gave chase and an icing, and we'll do it all over again with 9:54 to go in period number 2. And Matt, it looks like another Beacons team is about to make some history. The men's basketball team has lost 23 consecutive games against EastCon. They're up 4 with 9 seconds left, so that would be a nice start for them in conference play. EastCon's typically been the top team in the Little East Conference for years. Nicken breaks his stick as he tried to get a shot off, and that gives Wesleyan time and space to go the other way. Working with it is Harris, who has a goal in the contest. His pass knocked down by Osborne. Centering feed, and Best can't hold on. It's Cam Parrott's his second of the game, and just like that, Wesleyan makes it 4-0, and Nicken is off to the bench.
Well, this is a nice play by Wesleyan. I love this hockey play. Watch this front of the net, and you're going to see just a quick pop out. And if we got the replay, we'll run it to you before the whistle. But it's a quick. He's at the front of the net, Parrots is, and then he just pops out and right from the corner, right on the tape. He lets it fly. That's a tough goal. We'll show you on the replay. Tough goal or a tough save for any goaltender to try and make. It's a nice play by Parrots, his second of the night. Gives his team a 4-0 lead, and there's another one.
5-0 right off the bat. Michael Kerbrat, the freshman out of Laguna Niguel, California, adding insult to injury. And you got to wonder, do you call your timeout at this point after 2 goals in a matter of seconds?
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm Coach Bly, I'm running out of options here. I've already taken my goaltender. I think, yeah, he's going to take his timeout. He's already gone through one goaltender today. You really would like to see Best come up with a save there after you give one up, because all of a sudden now it's 5-0, and you're in a world of hurt. If you're the coaching staff, you are running out of options here. So you've got to rally the troops, and I don't mind the timeout from Coach Blyle.
Well, right now let's bring in the goal from Cam Parrots. Apparently we don't have the Kerbrat goal. It happened so quickly after the first one, but we'll see. It's just a tremendous hockey goal from Wesleyan, and a real momentum shift in this game as the Beacons had been the better team to start the second period.
Absolutely. Watch the front of the net here. The puck's going to be in the corner, and Parrots is going to be manning right in the front of the net. Yeah, take a look here as we run it. Now watch Parrots in front of the net here. As this puck comes out, watch he shoots out right there, and that's just a nice pass from behind the net. As
Harris,
a defense, you got to try to cover that. You know that's a play. You see right there, you've got 2 guys kind of watching the puck, and that's unacceptable in your own D zone. It's a nice play by Parrots, but quite honestly, DeLucio, I think, or I'm sorry, not DeLucio. Petruzella, yeah, that's his guy, and he got caught puck watching a little bit, and a good job by Parrots to recognize he had some opportunity to just shift himself. You take kind of 2 strides there, you open yourself up, and a nice pass right on the tape. And that was 4-0, and then right after the faceoff, I don't know if it was 10 seconds later.
I don't think it was. Michael Kerbrat came into the zone and just rifled one off the stick of Best and in. 5 goals in this contest for Wesleyan, and we're just past the midway point. Not exactly what we expected from this championship game, but again, the curse of the Codfish, the Beacons 5-15 all-time in Codfish Bowl championship games. Last 3 years it's been close. This year it's Wesleyan off to a really, really strong start in today's final after not scoring a goal yesterday in the first 40-plus minutes, needing 2 goals in the third to beat last place Fitchburg State, who lost 3-2 in overtime today to Albertus Magnus.
Well, now you're in a position, Seth, where you just got to try to drive offense. And unfortunately, there's no five-goal shot in a hockey game. So you've got to start with 1, and you just try to build from there. But you're in a position now where it really is all about offense. If you give up, a 6th and a 7th, not too much of a difference from 5-0. So got to try to get on the board here absolutely before this period's over.
Yeah, and realistically, you feel like you've got to get 2, maybe even 3. We talked about wanting to get back within 1 heading into the second period when it was 3-0. Now at 5-0, maybe you're not going to get back within 1, but you certainly want to get more than just 1 here before the end of the period as the puck is loose. Walker able to tip it in. And give a lot of credit to Wesleyan. I don't think the Beacons have played a terrible game. Wesleyan is capitalizing on their chances. They're playing a great defensive game, and they have just really frustrated UMass Boston throughout this contest. Wesleyan will push it forward and back into the Beacon zone.
And just some really unfortunate events for the Beacon's goaltenders today. You got McBurney with an equipment issue. He can't start. Egbert gets the start late. He can't finish the job. And now Best, who looked like he was kind of settling things, gives up 2 goals rather quickly. So it's not a great day for these Beacon's goaltenders. That's a penalty.
Yeah, Chris Peters just forgets about the puck and upends a player, but they're going to say play on.
Guess it was in the vicinity. That's a...
You and I would have put up the arm.
I would have, yeah.
And it looked pretty clear as if Peters had just forgotten about the puck and wanted to get a hit off as he went low. Allows the play to continue. Nachbaur with options, has Browning. Instead, Nachbaur tries to get a shot off and has it tipped immediately. Turnaround shot from Skinner. It's poked around the Beacon still with it. Nachbaur, another look that's deflected. Trying to get to the back post, and it goes in. It's Jeffrey Skinner, our player to watch, as the Beacons get the first one back.
Well, that's all you needed. That's really all you needed. You got one on the board now, and now all of a sudden you can get some life. It's a nice play by Skinner, Seth. And this is, again, just attacking the front of the net, not trying to do too much. This puck was kind of bouncing around the net for a while, from the front of the net, behind the net. Skinner picks it up behind and just beats the goaltender to the spot. And he tucks it home. You see Coach Bly and the coaching staff trying to rally their guys a little bit. And something's going on here. We've got the referee talking to Coach Blyle. Not quite sure what that was about. It was a quick conversation, so not quite sure. But nevertheless, you're on the board. So you've got a 5-1 hockey game now. Let's see if the Beacons can compound a little bit of offense here, as that pass is going to come right back down.
Yeah, Bross, a bad turnover. The Beacons fortunate that Wesleyan couldn't quite turn it into a 2-on-1. Last thing you want to do is give Wesleyan another good chance after they scored 2 goals in maybe 10 seconds to push this lead out to 5-0. Still 6:40 to go as Wesleyan scored 3 in the first, 2 in quick succession in the second. This could be an icing, and they're going to wave it off. And Redler, a clear hooking call there as he couldn't even hold on to the stick, and the Beacons will go back on the PK as he takes down that Sandy.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. He gets his stick caught in the skates here. Take a look at the replay. And it comes right on the corner. See, right towards the front of the net. Now watch, the puck's going to head back and just kind of bounce around. Skinner just sees it and beats him right to the spot. It's not the prettiest hockey goal. That's a little bit of grit to it, but I give Skinner credit there. You know, he saw an opportunity. I can beat the goaltender to that spot. He did and gets his team on the board, but now they find themselves in a position they got to kill off another power play.
4th goal this weekend for the Beacons. Top line of Skinner, Nachbaur, and Peters. UMass Boston is 2 for 2 today on the PK, including a really nice 5-on-3 kill that lasted over a minute. We'll see if they can continue to play well. It's Osborne trying to feed it ahead for Caruso. Puck is loose in the neutral zone, kept alive by Rose, who feeds it for Fox. Behind the net, Rose trying to find Harris, who gets pushed off the puck, and Osborne will send it down the left of the ice with Riley giving chase. Sestak will look to play the puck and easily moves it over for Zandy, the man who took that penalty against Redler. Still 5:46 to go. In the second period, the Beacons trailed 5-0 before the goal by Skinner about a minute and a half ago. Cut the deficit to 5-1 and put the Beacons on the board. Grant doesn't get much behind it, trying to get over to Petruzella. Puck is loose, and Grant just pulls through a pair of players there, one of his own teammates as well. The far side, Harris playing give and go with Emmett Powell. Powell up top for Harris, who scored the first of Wesleyan's 5 goals. From the top of the slot, looking for options, dishes it off for Zandy. Back out for Powell with 40 left on the man advantage. High shot just misses. Comes hard off the boards and a chance to clear by Atkins.
Really solid coverage by the Beaks, and they'll let them play with it at the perimeter all day. They were taking away anything cross ice that was cause any trouble, but that's too passive. And then we've seen that from the Beacons. They get lucky here, Seth.
So lucky.
That puck was loose. Best didn't control his rebound, but that's way too passive if you're the Beacons D. You can't just sag back onto your goaltender. At a certain point, you got to try to take away the time and space.
Yeah, that was Harris with all kinds of time and space. His initial shot was saved by Best, but the referee behind the net totally lost where that rebound was. It went right to a Wesleyan player who shot it in. The Beacons fortunate that it is still 5-1, trying for their 20th consecutive successful penalty kill. You see the highlight there. Would have been Matt Zandy's first goal of the season and 4th career goal, but it's waved off, and
That's
Browning will clear it.
That's a real bummer for that guy.
I mean, you're up 5-1 in a championship game. There are some positives right now for Zandy, the junior out of Mount Kisco, New York. Puck is tipped up there by Browning. The Beacons have a chance to clear, and it'll be sent down the length of the ice with 3. And the Beacons now 3 for 3 on the PK.
You killed it off. You did your job there, and now with 4:20 left in the period, if you can get one more, you pull back into this hockey game.
They're going to go icing there on Wesleyan. Wesleyan can't believe it, as it looked like Herbrat was ahead of the pack.
Yeah, they're going to have to talk about this. That was a pretty obvious, should have been waved off. Maybe not.
I'm not sure if the player was offside, and that's what the linesman was arguing, but they immediately were pointing to that player as if there was something wrong with his entry into the zone. Beacons will send the top line, the goal scoring line, back out there with 4:19 to go in the period, down 5-1. Beacons win the face-off shot from distance. DeLuzio goes out the back of his own player. Sestak was out of goal there for a moment. The puck is picked up by Wesleyan, and they're able to clear the zone, but not much further. Skinner right back in. Skinner shot high shoulder save there from Sestak, and the rebound comes all the way out to the blue line. Jeffrey Skinner has been very good this weekend. Now Skinner has Nachbaur in front, tries to feed him, and Nachbaur shot right into the chest of Sestak.
That's a really good save. That's a really good save.
Nachbaur still with it in the slot to the backhand, and another chest save from Sestak.
And those are the timely saves you talk about, and Wesleyan just got theirs. The Beacons haven't had too many today that I can remember. Those are 3 good saves from Sestak as the Beacons put the most offense we've seen all day, really.
Nachbaur in tight, and it's Albano following up the plays. There was a heap of bodies just outside the crease. Beacons turnaround shot from Skinner is gloved by Sestak, and that is the most difficult sequence we've seen Sestak have to face this weekend. And take a look at some replays as soon as we have them.
You got to follow it up with a good shift here, Seth. Yeah, you've had trouble compounding offense today. This is a huge chance for this third line to continue themselves here. Sestak had to come away with a couple saves, like you said. Yeah, it's a big draw.
You see one of these saves on Nachbaur, and we'll go back to live action. Wesleyan wins the defensive zone draw, and again, gets knocked down just outside the zone. Roviak trying to tip it over for Riley. Beacons onside. Riley scored from this angle yesterday. Backhand shot denied by Sestak as a couple Beacons go down. Puck is loose. 2 Beacons behind the net. It's won by Roviak. Rather, Riley, who had wide open Roviak in the slot, and they'll send it down low as the Beacons missed the chance there.
Yeah, he did. He was wide. Rokoviak was wide open. Wide open in the slot.
Wesleyan unable to clear the zone. Great job by Osborne knocking it down with the glove. He dove down. 2 Cardinals and now 2 Beacons, maybe even a third as Osborne pinches forward. Roviak dishes it off for Riley. Quick shot, glove save, rebound loose, and a chance to keep it in the zone again by Osborne, but unable to do it on the third try. Seen a much better Beacons effort here since they've gone down 5-0.
Seth, they've got a little confidence back in their game here.
Beacons in the midst of a change. That'll give a little bit more time and space for Wesleyan. We'll see if the Beacons can keep the puck in the zone with the forecheck. Puck goes off the back of a Cardinal to keep it alive. UMass Boston will go right back to that top line after a short rest. Poked out, but not much further. Wesleyan is really struggling to do anything in terms of getting the puck out of the zone as that's knocked down by Peters. Peters and Fiello. High off the boards, kept alive there, and it's a chance for Peters. Kick save by Sestak.
Yeah, you can see this guy's got some reflexes. That's a good kick save there.
And it goes underneath the stick of a Beacon. Parrott's working on 2 goals, trying for the hat trick as he gets knocked off the puck there. Good work by Rowland with help from Peters. Puck comes all the way out as they look for a chance at the blue line. And now they'll control here as the lead pass just out of the reach. Beacons want an icing. They'll get it. Minute 26 to go. Beacons have been getting those chances, but finally Sestak is showing why he was an All-American last year.
Yeah, you can see he's holding his team in it right now, and this is the first time where Wesleyan has shown gaps in their D-zone, and the Beacons are taking full advantage. I mean, they are shooting pucks from some pretty high high-scoring opportunity areas, and a couple of great saves. I'm counting 3 or 4 just in the last, 3-4 minutes that he's been able to make. Seth, he's looked good. His reflexes are clean. His angles are good. It's going to take a pretty good shot to beat him.
Beacon send out their top line. Wesley with their top line. We had a stoppage as one of the referees and one of the linesmen was talking to the Wesleyan bench. Bross unable to win it cleanly over towards the boards, but DeLuzio steps forward. Redler centering feed looking for Nickin, knocked down by a Wesleyan player. It's kept alive by DeLuzio, sends it towards net and knocked away by LaChance. Albano tried to play it off the boards for a teammate, and it's Nickin coming away with the loose puck with 1:05 to go in the period. Nickin shot tipped up into the netting. We'll get another offensive zone draw with 1:02 to go in the second. Beacon still down 5-1.
If I'm Coach Blyle, I think about getting Caruso out there. He's been his best faceoff guy, in my opinion. He's won a few clean. He's going to stick with this line. He's going to stick with Bross, but try to see if they can win this one clean. He's got plenty of space behind him.
Bross and Kerbrad, and again the puck
good win.
Kept over towards the boards, and that shot goes off a Wesleyan player. The Beacons want it to stay in the zone, and they'll get it as it goes off a Wesleyan player and onto the bench. So the third straight time we'll see Bross and Kerbrad. I don't know, the Beacons will make a change. Nachbaur, who's typically their top faceoff man against Kerbrad here, as the Beacons look to come out with a late goal. Beacons have scored the most recent goal, but that came after Wesleyan scored 2 goals in about 10 seconds to push the lead to 5-0. Twice today they've scored 2 goals in less than 2 minutes, including those 2 goals here in the second that came in a much shorter span. One over to Nachbaur from the circle, high shot, and it goes in off a Wesleyan player and in, and the Beacons have life. 50.8 to go, Nachbaur's third of the weekend, and that clearly went off of a Wesleyan player, although Sestak is saying that a Beacon gloved it and put it in.
They're going to want to talk about it, Seth, but this is a great play. And right now the goal's going to stand. This is just a tremendous play by the Beacons off the loss. It was a 50-50 draw, and the Beacons were able to corral the puck. A nice pass. I believe it was Skinner. Found Nachbaur in the slot. He wasn't totally uncovered. He had a player on him, and he was able to fire that puck, and this goal's going to count. And it's Nachbaur's, I think it's going to be Nachbaur's goal. He was able to fire it towards the front of the net. And Sestak got most of it, but this was similar to the Egbert goal. Went right up in the air. And I'm not sure if it went off a Wesleyan player, Beacon player, but next thing you know, it's in the back of the net. We'll have to check the replay.
We'll have to bring it to you in real slow motion to see exactly. Sestak was claiming, or at least petitioning the referee, that it went off of a Beacon's hand. Shot off the underside of the bar, and the Beacons still have life as Harris just missed on what should have been his second goal. And let's see if we can bring it to you. We don't have it yet. But that was a crazy turn of events as Harris very nearly pushed the lead back to 4.
And the Beacons, they might want to think about having a goalie meeting at the end of this period. None of these guys seem to be totally confident. They got to try to find a reset button here.
Are your pads in the building?
I might have to go dig them out, Seth. I mean, nothing against Best. That's a great shot, but I mean, your team finally claws their way back into this hockey game. You've got to come up with a save here if Wesleyan continues this offensive pressure.
Wesleyan with some time in the offensive zone, something they really haven't had since the Beacons scored the first goal. And now it's 5-2. The Beacons get one last rush into the zone with 15. Nickin centers it, but there was no one with him. And Wesleyan will go the other way with Harris, who just hit the underside of the bar and has a goal in the game. Dishes it off for Peretz, who's working on 2 goals. 6 seconds left. Centering feed for Harris is tipped up. Knocked down, and we'll go to the third with the same 3-goal deficit. But weirdly, the Beacons might feel a little bit better because it was 5. Now it's 3, and the Beacons have been the better team for a sustained period for the first time today.
Well, we dominated a lot of that period. The only difference was very late. I'd say the final less than 10 minutes. The Beacons were starting to drive the Let's take a look at this goal, Seth. As you'll see the shot, and Sestak makes the save there. Now the puck goes up in the air. I'd love to see it again.
We're going to have multiple. Was the player.
Let's see here. The puck, there's the save. It goes right up in the air. It's almost impossible to tell if that. I think maybe. It was tough to tell. Usually I base that on the celebration, but he didn't give me too much. I don't know. Either way, the Beacons find themselves back in this hockey game, despite the fact this could have easily been a 5-0 deficit. Now, they clawed 2 late in the period. They get back to within 3. Boy, they got to figure out this goaltending, though. We haven't seen anything really. I thought Best settled it a little bit there when he came into the hockey game. To have one ring that hard off the crossbar right after your team gets their second goal of the day, they've got to find some confidence in these goaltenders. Now, Coach Blyle, here's another. We got a lot going on. Coach Blyle talking to the referees. Would love to know what that's about.
And that was a long and heated conversation with Coach Blyle, who typically is not a guy who's going to chirp the ear off of the referee.
Very interesting. We'll have to find out. We'll see if we can get one of our inside sources down there and figure out what that conversation was about. But nevertheless, you're back in this hockey game now. It's still a 3-goal deficit. But you should have some momentum coming into this third period. Now you're finally on the scoreboard. You had a really good end to that period. We'll have to see what the Beacons do, and I'm sure Wesleyan will make some adjustments going into this third period.
Right now, let's take a look at a video of the Beacons Team Impact signing day as the Beacons added the newest member of their team, Malambo Mazoka Tyler.
Did you read all through this? Are you okay with everything on this now? You're going to make sure you read anything you sign. Okay?
I can't read.
I know. We love your energy, buddy, and you're going to be a big part of our team and our success this year, so we have a lot of fun doing it. All right, it's official. It's right here. All right, congratulations.
So we'd like to open this up to everyone here. Anyone want to ask Mal some questions? Anyone that doesn't know anything that you'd like to know about Mal? Now's your chance. Mal, how excited are you?
It's a work in progress.
Mal, what is it that you're going to be doing on the team?
So, like I said before, obviously, Mal's going to be a big part of the team. So, we got Mal.
Try it on. Try it on. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Go Bees!
All right.
And welcome back to the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. It is a 5-2 Wesleyan lead. Both teams scoring twice in the period. Wesleyan, the first 2 goals, those goals scored in a span of 9 seconds. The Beacons scoring the last 2 goals, including a goal with 50 seconds left in the period to give the Beacons a little bit more of a chance heading into third. My name is Seth Rensky, joined by Matt Meisenbacher. And as we take a look at the second period statistics, Matt, the Beacons led 9-8 after 1. It's an even larger lead. Not that I think they played that much better than Wesleyan in the second period, but certainly in that final 5-6 minutes, it felt like the Beacons might have found a little bit of a groove.
Yeah, in my opinion, they found a way to get pucks towards the front of the net, and they were driving them hard, especially on the first goal. That's one where Skinner could have easily looked for a passing option, but he saw, an opportunity to not just get it to the front of the net, but to drive it hard to the front of the net, and he was able to tuck that home. Almost the same thing on the second goal, a shot from distance. Now, this one wasn't really jammed home. It kind of fluttered in, similar to the Egbert goal, but they still had a front of the net presence. So I thought that was the difference. But again, you give up 2 goals there. The one was fine. It was I don't put that one on best. The fourth goal, that was a really nice play. In my opinion, maybe the best play from this Wesleyan offense in that period. But then to come right back down off the faceoff, and it's not just best. You would have loved to seen a save there. But to just give a goal up and then have the Cardinals come right back down the ice and score another one on you, that's not a recipe for winning hockey games. And they're back in it, Seth. It's a 3-goal deficit going into the third period. Unfortunately, the deficit was so large, they really need to continue that momentum just to really make things even again.
Looking at the scoring summary, it was Wesleyan opening the scoring and scoring the first 5 goals. They made it 1-0 at 3:52 of the first, an unassisted goal from Walker Harris. Cam Parrott scored his first of 2 goals at 10:42. Andrew Pratt scored off a rebound from John Fialo at 12:46. That was all in the first period. Parrott scored his second goal off a nice feed from Harris and Sorabella at 10:22 of the second. Then it was Michael Kerbrat right off of the faceoff right after the goal with Tyler Levine earning an assist at 10:31. And then UMass Boston got 2 back. Jeffrey Skinner from Chris Peters at 12:54 of the second, and Chris Peters from Nachbaur and Skinner at 19:10 of the period. As we'll take a look right now at the highlights from that second period. And Matt, a little bit more even in terms of the chances created in period number 2.
Yeah, UMB comes out early on here, gets a nice shot on goal, and Sestak was able to tuck that one into the corner. They followed it up again. You see, they're driving shot. The shots have not been a shortage here tonight. Wesleyan came down here with a shot on goal. UMass Boston continued. You see the middle of the ice is fairly open. This is the goal, or I'm sorry, this is an opportunity just before the goal. I thought they had a chance to score on that one. Wesleyan, now this one comes down. This one, again, right in front of the net there. That's just a really nice play by Parrots. And he's got the watch right there. Petrozel's got to follow him out or at least get his stick in that lane. He can't allow him to just take that ice. And then right after that, we don't even have the replay. It happened so fast. Wesleyan was able to score another. Now, UMass Boston finds a way back into this hockey game. Jeff Skinner, great play out of the corner here. Now watch right here as the puck goes through. He's going to be able to pick this up. And as he turns, watch what happens. He comes through.
Nachbaur tries to take a shot.
It gets deflected. Now Skinner, instead of trying to look for a pass right to the net, tries to tuck it home. Like that play, that's a nice way to try and find one. That got the Beacons on the board. And then later in the period, I thought, man, that was a great stop by Stepchuk, a great pass across. I think it was Nachbaur. Here's another opportunity there. Stepchuk, this is when he caught fire. The Beacons were really firing. You saw a couple opportunities here. That was that kick save. I thought maybe his best of the period. And then here's the goal. So a shot from distance, and again, I don't have eyes. I don't know where that puck goes. They might credit that to Peters.
They did, and honestly, the only plausible situation I can see is if that puck got stuck in Peters' jersey.
That's what I think
and
happened.
He just kind of spun, and as the puck came loose, it went into the net. So those are the highlights from the second period. Right now, we're going to take a look at our Beacon Spotlight with Nick DeLuzio, who's following the footsteps of another Philadelphia guy, Garrett Gallagher. They not only went to the same elementary school and high school, they went to the same junior program, and both played as defensemen. Gallagher graduating last year, DeLuzio just a freshman with this Beacons team.
Elementary school, we had like a program between our middle schools and our elementary schools. So like he came down and helped us. So that's kind of how that shaped out. And like everybody kind of looked up to him, like from our hometown. It was weird. It shaped out that I ended up going through the same path he did. So we started at Sun Valley Elementary, or Sun Valley High School is what it's called, but that's our elementary school program. And I followed him all the way up through high school, and I'd see him play there. And then I watched him play with Rocky Russo in the EHL with the Little Flyers. And then I found my way doing the same exact thing. And then you see him commit with Chakran to here, UMass Boston, and then I somehow found my way here too. So it was kind of cool being able to watch him and follow in his footsteps that way. Actually, last year Christmas break, I was just starting to talk to UMass Boston, and Garrett was in the gym, and I came up to him because the gym is exactly like 5 minutes from my house. So I showed up, talked to him, and he was telling me about Pete and the program and how he really loved it and I enjoyed it. And I was asking him if he thought I could play here, and he said, yeah, you just got to work hard, and that's what Pete likes. So that's what I try to incorporate into my game and my style. Yeah, we play in the same summer league. It's called, me and Garrett play in the CCHL. That's what it's called. It's a bunch of pro guys, college guys, junior guys. They all play together. So it's pretty highly competitive. So every time we play each other, it's probably every 2 weeks we'll play each other, and I always get a hack in the back of the legs or something like that. And I know he's joking and stuff like that. It was a lot easier. I mean, not only was it my league with the EHL, but also having the Philly connection, it makes it kind of not really just something you're reaching for, but something you know that you can achieve. So it's not just guys that are so much better than you. It's guys that, put in the work like you did and had to go through the same struggles that you did. So it's a lot easier that way. Yeah, there's a few players that I played with last year, and that they moved from, they're taking a different path, maybe moving to, because there's other leagues like the NCDC and the NOL. So they're moving through that thing, but there's definitely a ton of people in that area. It's a small town, a small area, Delaware County, and there's definitely a few players that could make a roster in the next couple of years. I talked to some of my friends from back home, some of the younger guys back home, and try to tell them, if you put in the hard work, you can make it here, and it's definitely something I want to be a role model to the guys back home and kind of keep this tradition going.
That was Nick DeLuzio following the footsteps of Garrett Gallagher, a pair of former Little Flyers and guys out of Ashton, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look around Beaconville. There has been one good result today for Beacon's team. The men's basketball team ends a long losing streak against Eastern Connecticut State. First time that fifth-year head coach Jason Harris has beaten the Warriors that are typically the top team in the LEC. The women's team, not so great. They take their second loss of the year. 88-54. Let's take a look around the rest of the conference. And honestly, Matt, the score that jumps out to me, Babson 6-1 yesterday over our Manhattanville team we saw last year that looked real good in the NCAA tournament. Granted, they had a lot of seniors just like the Beacons. They're tied, Babson tied 0-0 with D2 St. Michael's, a team that typically was a whipping boy of the ECAC East when they were still in the conference. The D2 team holding strong in what really is one of their biggest games of the year because they don't get to play for an NCAA tournament. It's games like this, a holiday tournament or their mini D2 tournament, that's the best they can do.
You never know, college hockey, baby. That's what makes this game great, especially at this level. For those folks that maybe don't watch a ton of Division III hockey, there's a lot of that. I mean, I'd be willing to say we see at least one score. It might not be the final, but we see one, paper complete mismatch, and then all of a sudden it's a close game. I think we saw a couple at Norwich this year that were total head scratchers. So it's one of the things that makes this game great, and always look forward to looking at the out-of-town scoreboard just to see if anybody's on upset alert.
Yeah, Norwich yesterday trailed 1-0 to Assumption, another D2 school, into the third before scoring twice and winning 2-1 to get to the championship game of their tournament. They will play SUNY Cortland later on today. Let's take a look ahead for UMass Boston. Matt, it's all conference games. 6 straight weekends, 7 home games, 5 road games for the Beacons. First off, you got to protect home ice, and we thought that could be an advantage today for the Beacons. It hasn't been, but this is a huge game. This is a huge period for the Beacons. Obviously, you want to get the win, but if the Beacons can come out firing and really play well, maybe that helps them as they take the toughest road trip of the year to Skidmore and Hobart. Not only is it a long way away, it's 2 really good teams in 2 very different barns.
Yeah, and this could be a turning point in your hockey season. You're 7-4-1. You didn't have the first half I think you would have liked to have. You've got a chance to do a few things. Win a game at home, come back in the third period from a 3-0 deficit. If you can do that, you win the Codfish, which you haven't done in a while, and now you've got a lot of good stuff going into some road games and some conference games the second half of this year. So this is one of the moments when you look back at your season and you think, boy, that was the point where we really turned things, or had we done something there, maybe the outcome would have been different. So let's see what the Beacons, if they can recognize the moment, let's see what they can do with it.
The Beacons lost 1 home game all season last year in the regular season, 3-1-1 going into this contest this year. You need to do a better job of protecting their home ice. They trail 5-2. It was 5-0. Back-to-back goals in the final 7 minutes and 6 seconds, and Peter Belisle is trying to fire up his group on the bench. as he will start with that top line that has scored both goals thus far today and 5 goals this weekend. 5 of the Beacons' 11. It'll be the top line versus top line. It's won cleanly by Harris, who's had a very nice day today. A goal, a couple of assists, and nearly a second one as the puck went underneath the bar after UMass Boston cut it to 5-2. There's an early icing, and we'll get another offensive zone faceoff.
Couple things, Seth. Goaltender has to be perfect. Can't give up another goal. Got to stop it right now. The offense has to maintain the driving force to the front of the net. It worked in the second. It'll work in the third. The final thing, I think, we got to activate the D. We haven't seen a ton of offense from our D today. There's a shot from Albano that gets blocked. I think if they can find a way to activate these D, especially number 5, we know what he can do. We can see if they can climb back in this hockey game. If you're Wesleyan, it's pretty straightforward. We got to play sound D. We've got a 3-goal cushion. We've got an outstanding goaltender. Let's not make things too difficult. We don't need a ton of offense. Continue to maintain at least 2 guys in the zone or back at all times.
Sound D, and they've got to stay out of the box. This is a Beacons team that's 4th in the country at power play at 32%. Now, Wesleyan's tied for 4th in the country at over 92% in the PK, but one way to get a team back into a game is to get some power plays, which the Beacons haven't had today. Here's Nachbaur darting through and keeps it alive down low for Skinner. Finds Peters, and somehow Sestak keeps it out.
What a save.
Unbelievable. There was so much room, and Sestak dives to his right and keeps out what easily could have been the Beacons' 3rd goal in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, you just got to try to elevate that puck. That's the one move Steptek had there. He was able to get the pad on it on a crossing save, almost a sprawling save. And, boy, if you can elevate that puck, you find yourself with a 2-goal deficit there. But a great save by Sestak.
Yeah, that would have been the 2nd of the day for Peters and 3rd of the weekend. Unfortunately, Sestak makes another great save. He's got a handful of them all coming since the midway point of the second period. His best, the second Beacon goalie of the day, makes the save. And let's take a look at that unreal save to deny Chris Peters on what could have been a beautiful tic-tac-toe goal.
Well, first off, it's a great keep by Nachbaur, keeping it into the zone, and then some great puck movement down low. Sestak just with a great save.
I don't know if that hit the chest or the right leg, but either way, Sestak able to keep it out, and the Beacons will bring a mixed line out here. Bross, Riley, and Caruso off the face-off draw. Interesting adjustment for UMass Boston. Osborne from inside his own zone. The Beacons still have 18.5 to cut into this 3-goal deficit. Riley trying to play it up for Caruso, who is off, and we'll get a face-off just outside the zone.
Boy, if that goes in, I mean, if that goes in, boy, I would be so curious to see what the energy would have looked like on the bench. But that's where goaltending can win you hockey games there. You know, that's a save where it changes things. It totally changes the momentum of the hockey game. Now Beacon's got to find a way to get another high-scoring opportunity like that, and you can see why this kid's an All-American.
I would say Sestak probably has the best 3, if not 4 saves in this game, and they've all come since the Beacons have begun to turn this game around. Unfortunately, the Beacons have probably given up 2 of the softer goals as well, as that's been a difference maker. The goaltending, Beacons thought that they had a good chance with McBurney versus Sestak, senior versus senior, but McBurney having to come out of the lineup due to a skate issue, and then Egbert struggling, giving up 3 in about 14 minutes, and Best has given up 2 more. Shot from Billy Grant hits the side of the cage as it was kicked away by Sestak. Grant out there with Walker and Redler. New first line or second line for the Beacons. Albano looking for options, sends it down low, finds DeLuzio, and unable to get the shot off was Grant. Wide open with Sestak down, and another great-looking chance for the Beacons.
You got to be hard on those pucks. I mean, that's one you just got to bear down and find a way to bury that puck. That's another grade A opportunity there that the Beacons didn't capitalize on. If you're Grant, you got to drop that lower hand and really try to force that thing through. That puck was laying right in the crease. He had the entire net, Seth.
Yeah, and Grant's a guy who the Beacons have such high hopes for, such a talented player, a great juniors player. Out of the lineup yesterday because he hasn't been producing as much as the Beacons would like, and that could have been a huge 3rd goal. Now Wesleyan comes the other way with numbers, 3v2. Somehow able to stay onside after that puck was ticked up, and chasing it down is Colin Cobb behind the net as he gives some pressure on Albano, and now DeLuzio takes a big hit. DeLuzio able to get back on his skates, working against Jamira, and DeLuzio will try to feed it ahead for Redler, who can't get their shot from the point. Gets knocked away by Walker, and Grant will pick it up. Grant ahead for Redler, who will dump it in on Sestak. And we'll get a Beacons change as the new line is Peters, Nachbaur, and Skinner. So the Beacons
Best line. This is their best line today.
That one's tipped up over the boards into the crowd. The Beacons have kept the first line together. The second line has totally changed. The third line has changed. And we haven't seen the fourth line here in the opening 3+ minutes of the period.
And haven't heard from Redler or Albano, not on the score sheet.
Or Ross.
So you've got that Skinner, Peters, and Nachbaur line is working. You've got to get some depth scoring. Got to try to find some here.
Nachbaur tips it out towards center ice. Peters dives for it to keep it alive, and the Beacons control, though. Osborne, heavy touch there, and that'll allow Wesleyan to tip it back into the zone. The more time that Wesleyan can spend out of their zone, the better they'll feel, as the Beacons have created 2 great chances already here in the opening 5 minutes. Puck is tipped away on the centering feed, and chasing after it there is Fox. Skinner the cross ice pass to the tape of Peters, who scored the Beacons' second goal and was denied by a great kick save by Sestak earlier on in the period. Behind the net, Harris tries to turn. Peters all the way up top for Petrozella. Shot gets deflected, and Albano, instead of pinching, will let Wesley get it out of the zone.
Slide that puck over next time. You've got one of your all-time greats, really, and Albano just standing there on the blue line, and he had a much better lane than Petrozella did. I'd love to see a D-to-D pass there.
Skinner to the front of the net, and Sestak will cover up. 15:42 to go. Still a ton of time in this game, and the Beacons are generating quite a few chances. They just haven't been able to get that third one. I feel like you've got to get your third one by, what, the 10-minute mark? Maybe
yeah.
earlier?
Well, it's more about the opportunities. You're only going to get so many. You've already gone 0 for 2 on your grade A opportunities. I don't think you're going to get many more than that. So for me, it's capitalizing when they do get a grade A scoring opportunity. It's capitalizing because this Wesleyan's team, defensively, other than a few mistakes, has looked pretty strong today.
Wesleyan into the zone with speed. It's Levine. Levine working there against Rowland, who pokes him off the puck, and Bross comes away with it. Bross out there with Riley and Caruso as he replaces Robiak there on the third line. And we haven't seen Robiak, Keene, Adkins, or Nicken here in the third period. Caruso shovels it down low for Riley, and now Bross, who gets pinned along the boards. Puck goes just over the glove there of Browning, and a chance for Levine. Levine has Rose to the far side, and his shot goes high, short side. Beacons able to catch a mini break there as a Wesleyan player is down along the Beacons bench. No call coming against Caruso there, who was standing over the Wesleyan players. The Beacons will feed it towards the far side. Redler, along with Walker and Grant, out on what is the new second line for UMass Boston. Stumped in, gloved by Best, and we'll get a stoppage.
Yeah, it's been an interesting game. And it's kind of what we've seen from this Beacons team. You know, the old Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, for first half of the game, it looked like Wesleyan was dominating. They were scoring, every which way. Beacons looked a little flat. And now the second half of the game, it looks like the Beacons we've come accustomed to seeing. A lot of puck movement, a lot more speed. They've got some energy, some life to them. They're able to score a couple. So it's just a little microcosm of what we've seen all seasons. We're going to get a penalty, Seth.
Yeah, Grant takes a big hit that was a little late. Albano goes just wide as he and Walker were in the same space. Beacons are going to get the extra skater on. We'll see if they can do anything with this little bit of time, as Best is already on the bench. Beacons slow to start heading towards the Wesleyan zone. That looked like a bit of a touch, and right now this is benefiting Wesleyan as UMass Boston is doing nothing with the puck, and finally they touch up. And UMass Boston will get their first power play of the game, 8 for their last 17. But Wesleyan's 24 of 26 on the year on the kill.
I know there's 13 minutes left, Seth, but you missed on the first 2 scoring opportunities. I think you got to get one here. I just don't think this is – I don't know how many more penalties you're going to get. And therefore, I think this is an opportunity. If you're the Beacons, you might want to think about throwing 4 forwards out there, because you got to have one. You got to get this thing within 2.
Well, this is the top unit, and it does have 4 forwards. Bross, Redler, Grant, Nachbaur, and Albano. And Albano essentially plays like a forward with his skill. Former Boston Bruin development camp member, as Nachbaur couldn't keep it in. Still 14 minutes to go. We'll see if the Beacons can get anything going on their first power play of the day. They went 1 for 1 yesterday, scoring the first goal of the game against Albertus Magnus on the power play. It was Redler who scored a power play goal in 4 straight. Sestak wanting to cover, couldn't quite reach it. It's Redler behind the net, goes all the way through as the Beacons had a couple players cutting to the front of the net, and that'll kill some more clock. 30 seconds gone by on the power play, and Best needs help. Grant behind the net, and Wesleyan content to watch the Beacons slowly break out. It's Albano to start. Albano against the red line. Albano to the blue line, loses it, and that'll waste another 20 seconds. Minute 5 to go as the Beacons will slowly switch out between the units. Petruzella, Skinner, and Nikin on from the second grouping. Nachbaur still on. Nachbaur loses it, but able to keep it alive, and Sestak will have to tip it away. Nachbaur as the Beacons finally set up in the zone. Nachbaur from the near circle. Down low for Skinner. Skinner has Riley right in front of the net. Skinner still with it, looking for Riley. Tipped away. A great tip there from Fialo. And the Beacons still don't have a shot on this power play.
Very little zone entry, and then when they do get in the zone, there's no puck movement. And that's not a good recipe for the power play. Let's see if they can enter the zone here cleanly. They
Skinner able to do so to the near side for Peters with 20 left. Pass gets tipped out, and the Beacons might not get a shot on their first power play of the game, down 3. That would be criminal. Beacons whistled offside there, so they have to touch up, and this has been one of the easier kills you'll ever see for Wesleyan.
Yeah, no symmetry on this power play whatsoever. There's a turnover.
And we're back to 5-on-5, and that was about the last thing the Beacons could afford.
Yeah, it sucks the life out of your forwards a little bit there because you didn't really get much of anything there. Boy, it's going to get tougher and tougher. You see now as Wesleyan, even after the power play, keeping 3, 2D and a forward back behind the red line.
Got an offside there as Rowland just barely ahead of Harris. So we get an offensive zone draw. It's one of the worst power plays I can remember for this Beacons team. Just no chemistry. And realistically, they maybe had the zone for 25 seconds, 30 seconds.
Well, they struggled with zone entry. They couldn't. They tried to have one guy go through the entire Cardinal team, and you're just not going to be able to do that. Wesleyan's too talented. That probably cost them half the power play right there. And then once they got in the zone, I didn't see any puck movement. I just saw, one guy maybe trying to do something. They had one shot that missed a little bit. That was really the only opportunity they generated.
Browning's attempted lead pass goes off the skate of a Cardinal. Now it's Grant missing Walker, and it'll go length of the ice. Beacons wanted an icing. It'll be waved off as that puck apparently was touched just shy of the red line. Rolling with it. Beacons freshman defenseman out of Manahawkin, New Jersey, has his pass knocked away. And controlled. They're going to go offside here, but Matt, 10:51 to go. I thought there was a chance for a comeback early in the period. Now it feels like that chance is infinitesimal with the way the Beacons are playing, with the way Wesleyan's playing defensively.
Well, and that really is the factor in the hockey game. You've got Wesleyan, who was able to capitalize on almost all their scoring opportunities today, and you've got a Beacons team that, even the ones they've generated, they've only been able to convert. I wouldn't count the Skinner chance as even a high-grade scoring opportunity. That's just a player making a great play. They really, on the chances they've gotten that should be automatic goals, they haven't converted, and that's why you find yourself down 3.
Offensive zone draw with the new fourth line of Roviak, Keene, and Adkins. It'll be Keene, the Beacons captain out of Poland, Maine, to take it. Working against Kerbrat. Scored the 5th goal today for Wesleyan. Behind the net, Roviak, centering feet, comes all the way out for Albano. Lots of traffic in front. Wisely elects to pass the puck. Now it's Keene over to Albano. A defenseman doesn't have a stick for Wesleyan. Now he's able to pick it up as that deflection went wide. And the puck is loose and taken out of the zone by Levine. Levine centers it off of Best, who pushes it towards the near boards. Keene comes away with it, mini 3-on-2 chance that they harry. Keene all the way behind the net, centering feed, and Roviak's shot goes off of Adkins there, who didn't get a lot behind it. Puck carries off the boards. Albano picks it up and forced to cycle it down low as he didn't have a lane. Roviak couldn't keep his skates, and a chance to clear the zone here with Rose, who doesn't get very far. The for Nachbaur picks it up in the neutral zone. Nachbaur into the zone as it tipped away. Kept alive there by Adkins with under 10 to go in regulation. Skinner is centering feed off of Sestak up into the bleachers, and we'll get an offensive zone draw for the Beacons.
Well, you got to try to do what you can. You're running a little low on time. You're still down 3. You've got to try to find a way to create some offense. So if you've got anything in the back of the playbook there, Seth, in terms of face-offs or systems you can run in the offensive zone, it can't hurt you now. You might as well give them a chance.
Nachbaur in the draw against Yamira, and Yamira ends up on top of the puck. And Wesleyan will send it down the length of the ice. If this goes wide at best, it'll be an icing. And for Wesleyan, that's not the worst play in the world.
Well, I think the other thing, too, if you're Wesleyan, you can really start to work the clock, especially with a 3-goal lead. It's one thing when you're only up 1 or 2 because a goal is that costly, but they don't have any reason to be afraid to make a bad play here. They can continue to run their regular defense and just continue to work the clock. For them, this is just a matter of time management. For the Beacons, it's a matter of creating offense that you had a little bit in the second period and try to get yourself back into this thing.
2-on-1 chance the other way for Wesleyan, looking for a 6th, and the shot gets tipped up by Petruzella.
Great play.
What a chance on the Beacon side, and his shot went high. He breaks it up very nicely by the freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona, and we'll get an offensive zone draw for the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a great play, and that's a defenseman who, any good defenseman, as soon as you see the tendency of the forward to try, once their hands get locked and it looks like they're going to shoot the puck, you can get that stick in the shooting lane. You see in the NHL all the time. Petruzella with a good defensive block there. His best makes a save.
Yeah, the Cardinals win it clean. It was Pitcher from the blue line, able to get another shot in on Best, who has only given up 2 since coming on for Egbert, who gave up the original 3. The issue is the 4th goal wasn't that bad. The 5th goal right off the faceoff was a killer as Riley takes a shot, Sestak the stand-up save, and he'll hold on. And each of these chunks is helping out the Cardinals as we're down to 8:53 to go.
And aside from the lack of goaltending they've had tonight, there's been just complete defensive lapse. I mean, we've seen a few times where no one is playing D, and people are puck watching and expecting the guy next to them to make a play, and that is not going to help your goaltender either. So let me be clear. I'm not putting this game on the goaltenders whatsoever. This has been kind of a question mark for this Beacons team across the board in every facet.
Walker in the face-off dot has to go off of the linesman, played by a high stick there from Albano. And the face-off will end up going into the Beacons end.
Beacons team, and no spark. Codfish final at home. Coming off the New Year break, you've gotten guys back. You should be healthy and, excited. And it kind of feels like, the practice maybe after New Year's Eve or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was a slow start. The Beacons were not playing all that well until Albertus Magnus tied it at 1, and then they seemed to turn it on. Today they waited to turn it on until it was about 5-0, and then after not being able to score that 3rd or 4th goal early in this period, they've kind of fallen asleep again. Behind the net, working with it is Matt Sandy.
It's been a lot of stick work. I mean, folks, watch here. Anytime the Beacons have a chance to attack the puck carrier, it's all with the stick. There's no physical defense going on. It's all stick work. Take a look.
Redler along the far side beats LeChance. The puck sends it off the side of Sestak, but it's corralled by Zandy once again.
There's a hit. That was up high.
Yeah, that was Walker who went up high on Zandy, and now Walker will tip it in behind the net. Chasing this one down is Dunderdale. Dumped in by Albano. We've seen maybe a minute and a half gone by where the Beacons haven't really done anything in their efforts to get back into this game. And Wesleyan just continues to be more energetic. It's Rose bringing it in and tripping up a Wesleyan player there. That was Skinner.
Yeah, Skinner or Albano. I'm not sure who's stick, but we're going to get a Cardinal power play here.
It was Skinner there on Levine, and we'll see Wesleyan go to the power play for the 4th time today. 0 for 3.
Home on a slash or a trip. Yeah, it's going to be a trip.
And not that I don't think they're comfortable up by 3, but if you had a fourth right now, that would be game, set, match if you're Wesleyan.
Yeah, if you're the Cardinals, I mean, you got a chance to win the hockey game. You go up 4, it's over. So it might already be over, but you get another one. And we'll see if the Beacons can put themselves on life support maybe if they kill this off.
Man with the puck is the man to watch. Walker Harris' shot doesn't get all the way through, and Caruso a good clear.
It's a nice save by Best. But again, how long did he have? Maybe 2 seconds, which is an eternity in the slot. 2 full seconds to get that shot off. I mean, that's just not good D-zone coverage there. And we've seen it all night.
Long stretch pass, catches the tape there of Rose. Best will come out to play it. Cycles it along the boards. He takes an odd bounce off the boards, and it's Harris behind the net. He opened the scoring less than 4 minutes into the contest. Up top for Powell. Powell with time. Gives it off there for Zandy and back for Harris with 1:10 to go on the man advantage. Powell will switch places with Zandy, and he'll dish it down low, looking for Spencer Fox.
It's crazy quiet in here. I can't even hear the players on the ice.
I don't think anybody on the Beacons is talking right now except for maybe the players on the ice.
We're the loudest ones in here, Seth. It's never good.
That's typical, though. We really don't stop talking as the Beacons get their first clearance.
But no, usually there, you can hear some chatter. You hear the boys communicating. There's just nothing right now. Hear Coach Blyle, though. Ooh.
Ryan Rowland nearly takes out a couple of members of his own team there.
He's not happy with his playing time. Fire went in on the coaching staff.
Rowland had a pair of assists yesterday.
That thing had some heat on it, too.
Well,
I would have had trouble with that one. That was labeled.
I'm not sure if you heard about it, but Nick DeLucio, one of the other Beacons freshmen, actually hit head trainer Ed Perkins down at UMass Dartmouth, and Perkins needed some stitches as DeLucio, the freshman, was trying to get a clear on the penalty kill and unfortunately went right into his own bench.
Unbelievable. Ed's tough, though. Ed's one of the toughest guys I think I've ever met, man. That guy eats nails for breakfast without any milk.
Dorchester born and raised for the Beacons' longtime trainer. We're down to 30 seconds to go on the man advantage. It's a big hit on Albano along the boards behind his own net. The Beacons were hoping for a penalty call as Albano had some words for the trail referee. Dumped in by Wesleyan with 17 seconds to go. The one very small bright spot, maybe the 2 bright spots the Beacons say, that play the top line, and what should be another successful kill. The Beacons have now killed over 20 in a row, down to 3 seconds, and that'll do it for Wesleyan. But 2 more minutes gone by, and the Beacons now need to score 3 goals in 5:20, or maybe 4 or 5, but 3's the minimum marker to force this game to overtime.
Yeah, you got to go. If you're going to do anything in this hockey game, you're super low on time, so it's got to be now. And I don't know. I think you don't really. I don't know if it's me. Coach Blyle might have a different opinion. I think you got to at least get another one and bring it to within 2 goals to pull your goaltender. I think down 3.
Bad turnover in front. It's Harris who loses it just as he got to the forehand.
Down 3, it's just too far of a deficit to even consider that. You got to at least get it within 2.
Oh, I'm in total agreement. I think realistically, pulling it down 3 with the way the Beacons are playing, you're just asking for a bigger loss as Frost has it poked away. You need to get at least 1 back. I don't think the Beacons have really shown any signs that they're getting a goal within the last 5 to 6 minutes. They played great to start the period, but
and you wonder, they had the 2 opportunities there. Here's look at it again. The all the way in from the blue line, folks. That is so bad to have a defenseman there just walk in from the blue line one-on-one with your goaltender, and we've seen that a lot today.
Peters' centering feed gets knocked out. Keene for Albano was able to keep it in, sends a shot that gets tipped around, almost made its way in on net. I think it was knocked away by the leg of a defenseman. Behind the net, Peters still battling for it. Under 4 minutes to go. I mean, Beacons have not necessarily put together a defensive or goaltending clinic in this contest. Content to dump this one in is Colin Cobb, and he'll get to it first. Cobb's able to find a teammate. Wesleyan just seems to have more energy, more discipline, and they're just making the better plays as the Beacons are asking for a whistle.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of that. The Beacons look flat. We've seen glimpses, though.
We'll take a look at a replay. I think this is Sandy. Actually, I don't really know what we're seeing here. Oh, that's the big hit on Albano behind the play.
Yeah, he did. He took one there, and he's a tough kid. He sure that didn't feel great, but we'll see what the Beacons can do. It's still 3 minutes, but the percentage chance of winning now is pretty low.
Shot from Nachbaur, glove down by Sestak, and some pushing and shoving between Skinner and a Cardinal.
This is the only line that's done anything today. And you take a look at the score sheet; it's reflective. Not always the case.
Goals.
Yeah, you look back at their goals. What was it? Peters has one, and
Skinner and Peters.
Yeah, Skinner and Peters on. I'll give it to you here in a second. Yeah, we've got. Oh no, I won't. That's the wrong sheet. But anyway, that's the only line that's done anything. And unfortunately, when you're in a game where you give up 5, you've got to find scoring from more than just one line.
And it's not just that they've scored the 2 goals, they've also created the other good chances. Nachbaur, Peters, Skinner have all been stopped on nice goals, and the Beacons pull the goalie, and Tyler Levine immediately scores. So Peter Bilal goes aggressive, and less than 20 seconds later, it's Levine, the sophomore out of Laguna Beach, California, adding to his goal total. That is number 4 on the year.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about in the pregame, Seth. Look at the depth scoring from Wesleyan. Harris, Pratt, again, Levine. Missing one there. Who got the 5th? Yeah, Kerbrack got the 5th. So you got scoring, you got goals from all different types of players, which is what we expected. We knew this team, can score on any of their lines, and it's just a little bit of a head scratcher for the Beacons. We sound pretty negative, but it's just because there's just not a ton of positives to go off of in a hockey game like this.
I think this team has the talent to do a lot more than they've done, and I think that's the issue. You look at this team, about to go to 7-5-1, and who's the best team they beat this year? Colby?
Yeah, probably.
And then immediately came out the next day. They scored 6 goals against Colby and lost 2-1 to Bowdoin. This team has struggled for consistency. Yes, they lost a big senior class, but they have so many talented players and brought back your stud goalie, your number 1 forward, your top 5 point scorers from last year, and they feel like they're a much younger team that's not playing to their potential. At some point, this team's either going to figure it out or they're just going to not play to their potential all season long.
It's not a long enough season where you could go through and be a 500 hockey team and expect to get a decent bid in the postseason. I mean, they've probably scrapped any chance they have at getting an at-large already, and so now you've got to put yourself in a position to try and get a decent seed so you can play a home game for your conference tournament and try to win it that way. But I agree with your assessment. I see a team on paper that should be able to really follow what we've seen from this program previously. There's no lack of scoring, and they've got playmakers on this team, a strong D-core, and exceptionally strong goaltending in most games. But we haven't seen the consistency, and that's the piece I think we've been missing this year from years past. There was a systematic approach to each game previous seasons, and this year it just seems like they just get away from their game so easily, and they become flat, they lack energy, and that's where they get themselves in trouble.
Under 2 minutes to go in what has been another disappointing Codfish Bowl final for UMass Boston. We've got an icing call against the Beacons. UMass Boston will lose their 4th straight Codfish Bowl championship game.
That's so bad.
They'll fall to 5-16 in 21 all-time appearances. The last 3 all by 1 goal. UMass Boston hasn't won the tournament since 2014, and they'll have to wait until 2021 to get a chance at another title as the Beacons fell behind 3-0 in the opening 15 minutes, 5-0 midway through the second period. They got 2 back in the second, had some great chances to start the third, but just have gone a little flat as there's a hit from Albano undercutting a Wesleyan player. Now Albano is still yet to get up. We'll check out Albano's health, and he'll have to come likely off the bench and immediately over to the Beacons trainers as he is going to try to tough it out. See him behind the Beacons players on the bench right now. And Matt, I mean, it's easy to say the last couple of years where it's a 1-goal game and the Beacons were in it the entire way before giving up a late goal. This one, it didn't feel like it was the curse of the Codfish. It just felt like one team wanted it a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, I think you've got a combination of a Beacon team that was a little bit flat out of the gate. They didn't get a goaltending. They had it, well, first, before they even got the start, they had an issue with their starter in warm-ups, so all of a sudden he's out. Your backup didn't give you the start you had hoped, and then your third string tried to stop the bleeding, but you didn't play strong enough D to support him. And, he gives up 2 quick ones. You gave up 5, and you didn't have the scoring production you needed to keep up with that type of game. So it was a combination of things. I don't point to one thing and say that was the issue. This is just, it seems, quite honestly, Seth, it seems like a team that's a little bit immature. That's what you typically get from a team that's loaded with freshmen and sophomore, not from a team that has a senior goaltender and a 100-point scorer up front in Redler.
Folks, make sure to stick with us for the postgame. We'll bring you the championships ceremony live, including the crowning of the MVP of this tournament. As we're under 30 seconds to go in regulation, Wesleyan, a first-time entrant, looking to repeat what SUNY Cortland did last year, a first-time entrant who beat the Beacons in their own tournament. Chance and whipping on that one. Rose didn't get much behind it as they looked for a 7th. And it really feels like the last 10 minutes, Wesleyan was the team more likely to score than UMass Boston, even before the Beacons pulled the goalie.
A little bit, yeah. And I think had they capitalized on maybe 1 or 2 of those scoring opportunities early in the period, we would have at least seen a better fight. But congrats to Wesleyan, and this is a team that is competitive in the NESCAC. I don't know if they're one of the top dogs consistently, but very competitive, and I really like their approach. That's a team that is not immature. They came in and did a really great job, I thought, defensively right out of the gate. It was tough. The Beacons didn't have much of anything offensively in that first period. They capitalized on the scoring opportunities they were given, and they allowed their goaltender to make the saves he's capable of making. It was a really nice game. I think if I'm Wesleyan, I feel strong. This is a good win, and fortunately for this one, they get a trophy for it.
Yeah, the group that's led by Peter Belisle's old roommate, Chris Potter, picks up the championship. David Lund, who was on that 2007 team that won the Beacons' 3rd ever Codfish Bowl, wins his first as a coach. This team won 16 games a year ago, the most in program history, 13 conference games, off to a slow start at 2-2 in NESCAC play, but pick up a big weekend sweep. They've now won 4 in a row as they look for a big second half. The Beacons continue to go up and down here in 2019-20 as we'll bring you the championship ceremony live. And for me, the MVP comes down to 1 of 2 players. Do you give it to Peretz, who had 2 goals in the final, or to Sestak, who made 23 saves on 24 shots yesterday, and today made the big saves when they needed them, as the Beacons came back with energy late in the second period and early in the third.
You're going to ask a goalie if he's going to give it to a forward or a goalie?
Well, I'm going to ask based on the performances you saw today.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. You could go either way. I didn't see any player that really stood out to me, overtly where it's clear and obvious. I could see it going to either guy. And why not give it to the goalie?
I mean, why not? We'll see. I will say the forward that stands out to me is Harris.
He played well.
Anytime the puck's, he looks to be his really good stick handling. We saw that cannon of a shot that went off the underside of the bar that had a chance to make it 6-2. He's got really good awareness and vision.
Coach Blyle's still talking to the referees. I am so curious as to what this is, like the 3rd or 4th time we've seen Coach Blyle, and I think it's St. Lawrence, the referee. I mean, this game's been over for a few minutes now, and they're still talking. I'm so curious as to what this could be about.
Right now, they give Dakota Keene the sportsmanship trophy. Beacon senior captain. We'll then see the Codfish Bowl trophy and the tournament most valuable player. And it is Sestak, and I don't think you're that surprised. Sestak, probably the most valuable player today, considering the offense was so balanced. They needed one guy to stand up, especially late in the second, and Sestak ends the game making 39 saves on 41 shots.
Well, and I think came away with some key ones there late in the period. I mean, well, no, I shouldn't say that.
Late in the second, early in the
as
third.
well. Yeah, I agree. He had some really good saves there where the Beacons were really pressuring, and he was able to come away with some key stops. So, yeah, not surprised. And similar like a good quarterback in football, you can win a hockey game similar. You don't have to be standing on your head. Sometimes it's just maintaining your crease or, maintaining the game and kind of managing yourself a little bit versus, coming away with those big saves all the time.
Walker Harris and Spencer Fox, the two captains of this Wesleyan team, will pick up the trophy. And also, Matt, sometimes the quarterback or the goalie gets the credit when they win, and they also get the blame when they lose, whether it's deserved or not. The Beacons goalies, they weren't the reason the Beacons lost today, but they're going to take some of the blame, and Sestak gets even more of the credit, even though his offense really provided a nice start for him in this game.
Top down, there were issues that have to be addressed. We've gone over them at length here because we didn't have too much to talk about in the third period. But, there's clearly issues with this hockey team. There's really their strengths have not been able to overcome where their weaknesses are. And there's a lot that needs to be addressed, especially now as they head into conference play and try to get themselves, in the top tier of this NEHC.
Last man off the bench for UMass Boston is Bailey McBurney. They really hope he can play on Friday night at Skidmore and Saturday at Hobart. Not having him today made it more difficult. And with the way that Egbert struggled today and Best struggled, you need your number one guy when you return to conference.
Must have been a serious equipment issue. I can't imagine his skate. Something must have happened because, to not have your senior goaltender for the conference final, I'm sure he was itching to get in there. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate issue that he was dealing with. We don't have details as to what it is. But obviously it was enough to keep him out of the hockey game, and it's just an unfortunate break for a Beacon team.
And when McBurney plays well, he's as good as pretty much anyone. So the Beacons are going to need him as they try to figure out some of those defensive issues. We're going to do a pretty quick finish to this broadcast. Let's take a look ahead for UMass Boston on the road next weekend. So UMass Boston will be at Skidmore and then Hobart, one of the toughest trips before coming home. Their next home game is against Babson. If you can't get up for that rivalry game, your home and home series, I don't know what'll help this team as UMass Boston will take on Babson on the 17th at home. Let's take a moment to give a shout out to our production crew here at the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Most of these student athletes coming back well before they needed to help out with this two-day tournament. Gigi Braga, your producer and director, joined by Mary Jo Murphy and Ellie Falieris, Allie Crawford on replay, Kyle Penny, Shaw Anwar, Jordan Toomey, Haley Catania, and Colin Ford, your camera operators. For Matt Meisenbacher, myself, Seth Dorensky, thanks so much, folks, as UMass Boston ends up losing this one 6-2 after falling behind 5-0 midway through the second period.